Good morning, everybody. I am sorry, I am out of uh kind of out of my element this morning because I had to. First of all, can somebody hit the one and let me know if y'all could hear me? Because I am using two devices this morning, and uh it is really working on my nerves. So y'all let me know if y'all can hear me. Somebody hit the one if you can hear me, please. I might need to turn up this microphone. I don't know. So y'all can hear me. Okay, thank you so much. Good morning. Good Sunday morning, everybody. Just let me say this is a trigger warning. This video is going to be a trigger warning for some people. We are going to be talking about, hey Tracy. Hey everybody. Let me speak to everybody first. I am so sorry. Hey Tracy. Hey True Alpha. Hey Gynocracy Takeover. March Baby. Hey Monroe. Hey Jan the Best. Hey Tanya McNeil. Mother Twerks. Jen. Did I say Jan the Best already? If I didn't, hey. And happy Sunday, everybody. Let's see, J Truth. Hey, girl, Truth. I'm sure I said Truth. Filter Muffy. I'm just trying to go down the line here. So we're going to talk about. Let me just say first of all, this is a trigger warning for some people. Thanks for letting me know that you guys can hear me. I'm going to play some audio from a video that was done today on the Faith Factor channel. If you don't know who the Faith Factor is, she is a content creator. She's been on here for I think over 10 years. She did a video the other day that was very concerning for me. I saw, hey Aries Queen, I first saw this video I saw a clip of the video from Atari's video, right? And so I was like, let me go see what's going on, right? So I listened to a little clip of that video, and I was like, well, let me go look at the Faith Factor video. So last night I was on over on Bomb Cherry's channel because Bomb Cherry had been into it with Sista George for a couple of days now concerning Sista George's husband hopping down in Bomb Cherry's DMs, right? So she's been on the defense ever since, right? So she jumped on Faith Factor's video, like I said the other day. There was some very problematic commentary, especially concerning little girls. The Sista George is very much male identified, in my opinion. And because she's male identified, I think she has a really, really, really screwed up and very disgusting mindset. A male identified mindset is a very dangerous thing when you have a woman online spewing this type of rhetoric, especially against little girls. And I understand she has children herself. Right. So I was like, I asked Faith Factor, like I said on Bomb Cherry's video last night. I dropped down in the chat and asked her, could I do like kind of a review on her video. So we're going to listen to some audio. I'm not going to play the video, but we're going to play the audio from my phone because I don't want to, play her, whole video on my video, right? So we're just going to do the audio. I'm, invoking fair use anyway, but I got permission from her to play this audio, right? Because like I said, we're going to discuss this. Is very problematic. But before we do that, in case you guys didn't know, last night yesterday there was a white supremacist by the name of Peyton Hedron. He is 18 years old. He went to a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York. And he killed, the reports are stating that he killed 10 people, 10 black people, injured one black person, and also injured 2 people, right? And so I just want to mention that to you guys. They're calling it a white supremacist attack. He actually streamed this attack on Twitch. It was up for a couple of minutes before they snatched it down. And like I said, he is 18 years old. He was taken into custody by the by the Buffalo Police Department without a scratch on him. And so yeah, and they said that he had this fella had the N word etched into his rifle, right? And that is absolutely repulsive. I just want to mention it to you guys in case you hadn't heard about it. He had a manifesto. He had pretty much been I'm gonna use the word recruited via white supremacists online because he is 18 years old. And one reason why I mention this is because 10 melanated souls are True Alpha said Foxo is already trying to justify his actions. There's no justification for that sort of thing. Hey, Saida, Aries Queen, Rod D, how y'all doing this morning? Right, there's no justification in my mind. They say he mentioned Dylan Roof, in his manifesto. He became radicalized. The FBI is alleging online. Like I said, he actually went to a predominantly black neighborhood that was 3 hours, I think they said, away from where he lived. He cased the area the day before. A black man, I saw a video, an interview. Hey, Lady Shikari, an interview where a black man said he had actually talked to Peyton Hendren the day before. And yeah, he's not even scared to go to jail, right? Like I said, they said after he killed all those people and injured 2 people, he then went outside. The SWAT team was outside of the store. He put a gun up to his neck, but they talked him down and they then arrested him and took him to jail and arraigned him. He's already pled not guilty. He's been charged with 1 count of murder, and that 1 count of murder is because he murdered the store security guard, longtime security guard, retired police officer, black man, retired from the Buffalo Police Department. He's been charged with murder in that. The security guard, he's been held as a hero because he did try to take down the shooter, but unfortunately, the shooter took down him. And there are a whole lot of reports online. I really wanted to mention that to you guys. It's really a horrible situation because you can be in your own neighborhood if you are black in the United States of America, and these people will still come to your neighborhood and harass and bother you. We have a lot of black people that are apologists. They are white identified. And they cape for these types of maniacs, right? And so it's real hard for me to hear about our melanated people being stalked and murdered. Broke my heart, right? And so one of the people that was killed, they have identified in this attack was actually a 86-year-old grandmother. She had kids, grown kids, of course. I'm trying to find an article on my phone. She had her 86-year-old husband is in a nursing home. She was doing her weekend shopping. A lot of I do too. A lot of people get their shopping done on the weekend. That's why I couldn't come live yesterday, because I was doing what I had to do as I was going along trying to pay attention to what was going on online, right? Maybe we need to get on guard as black people, realize that we live in absolutely. But a lot of black people, don't like to deal with these types of situations, and for that reason it leaves us open to attack, right? And so this is a perfect example of that yesterday. And so it says 86-year-old Ruth Whitfield, the mother of former Buffalo Fire Commissioner, was gunned down in Saturday's shooting. The name of the police officer, ex-cop, he was a black man, Ernest Salter, who was working at the market as a security guard, trying to stop the gunman, but then was fatally shot himself. Peyton Grendon is the shooter, the white supremacist, 18, had N-word scrawled on his rifle, targeted a store in a predominantly black area, shot 11 people, police said. At least 10 people were killed. 10 black people were killed. They say They say a couple of women. Oh, thanks for the super sticker of Faye 187. Hey everybody. They said that he actually shot 2 women in the parking lot before he even entered the store. Wow. This is very my God. You guys know that I am pro my people, right? And for me to sit up here and have to briefly, because I'm gonna have to do another video, so that I can show you guys some photos, but I'm not used to this other device that I'm on right now. I just don't understand why some of us can't realize who the real enemy is, right? And so I'm gonna leave that right there. But I just want to bring this to you guys because this makes me ill. It makes me literally ill to talk about this. And I'm really gonna have to calm down before I bring this commentary to you guys. So we're gonna talk about no offense to the Masons, the let's bring back the Black Panthers to educate. Yeah, I mean there used to be at one point in time a couple of organizations like the Black Panthers. I mean, I remember the Deacon of Defense, the Black Panthers, of course. They used to protect our neighborhoods. And for this 18-year-old boy to be radicalized online, go to 3 hours from his home, target a predominantly black area, a predominantly black grocery store, case that grocery store out the day before, and then to go back and kill a murder all of these peoples in the name of white supremacy. They say this 18-year-old boy had been online, looking at all of this white supremacist commentary. He was obsessed with critical race theory. He was obsessed with something they call a replacement theory. If you don't know what a replacement theory is when it comes to white supremacists, replacement theory is something that the white supremacists are parading online, saying that white people are being replaced by white people, other ethnicities people. So they want to bring about a and he streamed it. It was streamed on Twitch for a couple of minutes before they snatched it down. And so we are used to talking about white supremacist organizations like the Ku Klux Klan and all of this and all that. All of those organizations, the Oath Keepers, all of those organizations have moved online, and they are now radicalizing children, right? Just like you see a lot of derogatory male-identified females like Sista George, the Black Manosphere. All of this type of rhetoric is very derogatory. These young people are listening to this ad nauseum every day online. Then they are going out because they have been radicalized, and they are actually committing crimes. That is one reason I believe that the black femicide rate is at an all-time high, right? It is very disturbing to me. So like I said, we're going to listen to this audio. We're going to go back, and I'm going to have to do a separate video about this, because I do not appreciate my people being gunned down for simply going to a grocery store, right? And so if we can't unify on anything else, we need to unify as a people when it comes to protection, right? Because it is possible for us to protect ourselves, right? But you have to wake up and stop living in the land of delusion, right? Online, offline, in your everyday life. I live in the South, right? And in the South, we have an open carry. You don't have to even have an open carry gun permit or a concealed to carry gun permit. We bought both of them. It was, I want my money back, because you don't even need a license to open carry in the state of Tennessee, right? And so for that reason, every time I go out, my husband has instructed me time and time again to carry my firearm with me, right? To the point to where he heard this last night, and he wanted to make sure that my gun was in working order. He cleaned it. He did all this and all that. Gave me the whole speech. I had to sit there and listen. Because he was concerned because I'm out and about all day and he's at work. Or doing something around the house or wherever, and he's not with me at all time, right? And so, yeah. So anyway, we're gonna go on past that. So I'm gonna play this audio from Sister George. We're gonna get into that. I'm gonna have to do a separate video about this. I see y'all comments, but I'm just gonna go on and get into this. I don't want to keep y'all all day. We already been on here 16 minutes, but I really want to mention that to you guys in case you hadn't heard about it. There's a lot online about it. I actually saw a news report on the TV this morning about it. And if you just came in, we were talking about the 18-year-old white supremacist that was radicalized online, did a manifesto and everything, then drove 3 hours from where he lived to a predominantly black neighborhood in Buffalo, New York, went to the grocery store and murdered 10 black people, injured 1 black person, and killed 2 Anglo people. And so I'm gonna have to do a separate video about that. But right now, we're going to talk about Sister George, right, and her very problematic commentary. So, like I said, I got permission from the Faith Factor to play the audio, and we're going to break down the audio. Not only she said some very, very disturbing things about little girls, but I kind of wanted to break down the whole thing because a lot that she said, even before she got to the conversation of the little girl, was derogatory, right? And we have to realize what type of male-identified female that we're dealing with here. And I kind of wanted to break that down for you guys, right? So I had time this morning, so I was like, let me go on and do this. So let me pull up this audio. Y'all saw the YT boy with the whip hitting that black family. No, I didn't see anything about that, Miss P. Where'd you see that video? I don't. Let me stop reading the chat. So now please hit the like button. So we're going to listen to some audio. Like I said, this is Sister George's. This is the Faith Factor video. It was 1 day ago. I'm going to play the audio. The title of this video, the title of the channel holder's name is the Faith Factor. If you hadn't have you ever watched their channel? Which channel? Whose channel, Aries? The Leah Gordon channel. Is that where it was? Okay, I'll take a look at it, Miss B. Whose channel, Aries Queen? Before I start this audio. So the name of the video is from 1 day ago. The channel holder's name is The Faith Factor. She's been online for a long time. Y'all go give her a click and a view. I don't understand why this video only has 658 views in the first place. Some of you may not have heard of her. That's why I'm mentioning the name of the channel holder, because that's whose audio I'm playing. The title of the video is Sister George versus the Sisterhood, Men and Other Women DMs edition, right? Because when the video starts, Faith is trying to ask her about, like I said, something that Bomb Cherry brought up. Sister George is sick in it. Yes, she is. I agree. Mm-hmm. No, not all black people need weapons. That's a mistake. I heard that, Lady Shikari. Well, girl. Oh, Sister George. I think I may have seen one video. I think that the name of it, I've seen that show before. Yeah, I have. Briefly. I can't take it for long, because I don't agree. You don't know what folks watching online. So don't say guns to all black people. No, I'm not saying guns to all black people. I'm saying I was just mentioning what was going on with me in my home. I'm just, Lady Shikari, I'm just mentioning what's going on with me in my home, how we work. Because like I said, I live down south, and there's a different type of racism down here. It's up front and it's in your face, right? And so I was kind of shocked to see that thing happening from an 18-year-old. And I was also shocked that it happened in upstate New York. And so, but yet now down south, would I have been as surprised? I would have been just as hurt, but I wouldn't have been as shocked as I was to find out. You haven't been. But I wouldn't have been shocked if it hadn't been in upstate New York. I don't know why, but down here nothing surprises me because I said, I can walk, I can go to the store and there'll be 3 cars, 3 trucks, with rubber flags on the back of it. You know, and so yeah, True Alpha, you having a whole other conversation, child. We ain't going there today. But I do want to talk about transhumanism though, but not today, right? Not on this video. So anyway, I'm gonna play this audio. We're gonna start this audio and I'm gonna do a kind of reaction video. As she's talk, I'll be playing a video and then I'll be stopping at some points in time to add my commentary to the conversation, right? And so let's get started, right? Y'all hit the like button. I'm going to start. Like I said, once again, this audio is from the Faith Factors video the other day that a lot of people are talking about, and Sister George and her derogatory commentary. So where the video is starting, I'm starting 1 hour into the video, because the Faith Factor has already done her opening monologue, and then she dropped the link, so so that people can come up, and one of the first people that came up was Sister George, right? So let's get into this audio. When I start this audio, y'all hit the 1 and let me know if y'all can hear me. If y'all can hear the audio. If not, I'll turn up the microphone, okay? Hold on 1 second. Let's get started.
All right, so now we just have Sister George and myself up here. Sister
if
George,
y'all can hear it good, hit the 1. Let me know if I need to turn it up.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. So I saw what went down and the evidence on both sides. So I want to be fair to both sides about this whole thing. But what it looked like to me, it looked like Bomb Cherry got you. But can you explain to me how is it that you had access?
Hold on a second. Let me know if I need to turn it up. Thanks for letting me know y'all can hear it. But let me know if it's loud enough I can turn up the microphone, okay? Hold on. Okay. If it's not loud enough, just turn it up a little. Okay. All right. Let me turn up the microphone. This is a Yeti mic, and I don't want to sound too loud, but I don't mind turning it up for the purposes of this audio. So let me know if it's enough now. I'm turning it up.
To a dummy account.
Is that louder?
Well, we didn't have access to a dummy's account's inbox. What we had access to was Curlin's real messages. And Curlin's real messaging. So when she said that, and she and I talked this morning, I'm so confused about what she saw. But what I'll tell you is when a couple, like last week or last weekend, whatever, because this has been ongoing for a few days, Curlin found out that somebody tried to clone his account or use his name and say that that was him, and it wasn't him. Curlin took a screenshot of that account and posted it on his Instagram, posted it on his Facebook, posted it on his Twitter, and told everybody to go and report that account. He said, everybody go and report this account. And this was well before Bomb said that, he had inboxed her. So she and I have been going back and forth, and I'm not going to necessarily say we've been going back and forth. She's been coming at me, and that day I chose to respond. When I chose to respond, she was saying some derogatory stuff about me. Of course, I said some derogatory stuff about her. And then she was like, well, young man has been in my inbox. And I'm like, okay, and show the messages. Show what you got. When she pulled up her stuff, I think when she pulled up the initial thing, because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care. I didn't care. I don't care. When she pulled up the initial thing, what I think that she said was that it looked like he had blocked her or the messages had disappeared or whatever, right? At least from what I remember.
I remember her saying that somebody blocked her and the messages disappeared.
Right. So when she pulled that up and she said, well, the messages disappeared, she must have told him to retract it, something like that. And I was like, okay, whatever. Curlin and Bomb used to be cool. Like, if Curlin has inbox Bomb, it would be on some Happy Mother's Day, Happy Birthday, whatever. Curlin hasn't been inappropriate with Bomb Cherry. Bomb actually, she and I actually had a discussion this morning, and Bomb also said, well, and she still believes that the messages came from him. I don't know. I don't know which inbox she was in, but she was still saying that she had received a message from him saying Happy Mother's Day. She said that it was nothing inappropriate about what he sent her. And, that's where we're at with it. Now, him saying Happy Mother's Day, Happy Birthday, that's not inappropriate. That's something that we would do because we did have a lot of respect for Bomb. I used to always be on Bomb's platform. Always. I was always in her chat. Now, I'm not going to say I was always up on her panel, but, we stopped by Bombs. Bomb is like auntie vibe. It was like old auntie vibes, and she gonna talk her shit, and you generally have a good time, and you go on. She talk, rose gag or whatever, and that's basically what we saw it as. So, when I saw your title today, I kind of laughed because, of course, I assumed that it was about me. And what was interesting to me, and even with talking with her, is the not being able to brag on your man being good to you. And I thought,
let me stop right there. What she's doing here is trying to explain away the fact that Bomb exposed the fact that her man, Curlin, that she met online, from what I understand, she met online in these chat spaces, and they are now married. They have been married from what I understand for a year. She'll go on to explain that she's in the honeymoon stage of her marriage, which she is, but she's trying to explain away the fact that Bomb exposed the fact that he was being inappropriate with her in those DMs, and Bomb exposed those DMs. She didn't retract the fact that she believes that it was the Curlin, the husband's name is Curlin, on what I understand, was in her inbox being appropriate. Now, we know that Bomb does her sex work thing online, so ain't no telling what the conversation was. I didn't go on Bomb to listen to or see the actual conversation, but she has been trying to explain away the fact that her newly married husband was in Bomb Cherry's inbox. She's trying to say that it was a dummy account. I don't believe that it was, because Bomb, from what I understand, that she showed proof, right? So she has been trying to explain it away ever since it happened, and she's still upset about it because every time somebody talks about it, she has to get on her and and make excuses for the fact that her now husband was in Bomb Cherry's inbox, right? And so she's feeling away about it. She's feeling embarrassed about it. She's feeling very defensive about it, and she doesn't want. She's in the land of delusion, right? She's trying to make like she don't care. It wasn't no big deal. At one point on Bomb's video, I did hear her say, was, send us the pictures and all of this and all that. Now, why you would tell another woman to send her very sexually suggestive pictures to you and your husband is beyond me. I just don't understand. I also don't understand, why do you think that you could have a functional relationship with somebody that you met online, met in the Black manosphere? And she's also, like I said, she's very well identified. She's putting on this role, like, I guess she's this extra submissive woman. She's in her 40s. I understand that she was a single mom at one point in time. What do you think is going to happen when this man has been online for years, because this is where you met him? How do you think anything was going to be different? You see what I'm saying? And now you're trying to explain away the fact that your man was caught in this woman's DMs, right? And and that's right, Aries Queen. Bob did not say she lied. She said she didn't say what the message said, right? And so like I said, Sister George is very defensive right now because she know that her man was in that woman's inbox being inappropriate, right? And she doesn't want to admit to that. So she's very defensive, right? So now let's go into this whole fantastical world that she has about her relationship, right? And so I'm just amazed at how you could be 40 years old and live in the land of delusion and think that you can meet somebody in a chat room, a man that if he's in the black manosphere, then he has he has a very diluted mentality when it comes to black women in particular, right? Because we've heard over the years, I've been back and forth with a couple of them. I never heard of this curling guy, right? Because I go back and forth from sectors, right? And so, but I found it very fascinating how she tried to explain away the fact that this man was in the inbox. Now, this probably wasn't the first time he was in somebody's inbox, and it won't be the last. But the fact that she is willing to, try to explain or make make excuses for him being in this inbox, is beyond me. But I mean, I guess we all got to do what we got to do, right? So, but how you get him, Sister George, is how you gonna lose him, all right? And you a grown woman, and you got to be pretty desperate, not only to come online and marry somebody that you met online, but number two, you letting the world know that you are one of those women that would do anything. You just take any old kind of man at all, right? Because you will never find my husband online. He think it is ridiculous for me to be online in the first place, right? And so, but what you will never do, is find him online, right? And so, anyway, let's listen to some more commentary. I just want y'all to know what I thought about her trying to, nigga explain away what it is that was going on. But bottom line, Bomb busted the fact that Sister George's man was in Bomb's DMs, okay, being inappropriate, and she don't want to admit it. So let's go into the fantastical world. Let's listen some more.
No, I covered that at the beginning of the show.
Okay, let me just say this, Faith, real quick. I was at my daughter's talent show, so I didn't hear the full scope of the conversation. So I saw the title and I was like, oh, that looks like that's about me. And I didn't get a chance to listen in fully. We listened to everything from about 15 minutes ago till now, 15-20 minutes ago until now. So after the talent show.
I try to be very thorough and I'm fair. But here's the thing. Now, I did cover that, it's okay to brag about your guy. Like, my guy does good things for me. I would brag, like, look at what my guy bought me, or, he took me to this nice restaurant. You brag about things. That's natural. That in and of itself is natural. But what's not natural is when you weaponize your relationship towards an entire group of women to say that you're better than another woman because you have a man. Now, that's where the bragging goes wrong.
When have I ever said that?
And I know you've never came out and said that, but that's what it comes across as when you're finger pointing and wagging to other women about what they are and are not doing, what they are and are not qualified for, who they can critique and who they can celebrate the death of, and all this other stuff. You did do that.
Okay, let me take it back just a smidge. Now, you said that I basically will throw my marriage or my ring up in Black women's faces, right? Because I want to make sure we cover it like point by point.
It does come across as Suge Avery with itis. I has married now, so I can get on here and I can bum rush y'all and I can talk shit to you because I got a ring. It comes off like that.
Okay. Well, let's talk about it. I will be the first to sit here and tell you that me and Curlin are not perfect people at all. We have we have a great marriage. We have a great marriage. I understand the benefits of marriage. I've seen examples of good marriage in my life. My mom was married for about 14 years to my stepfather. They both passed on now. My father has been married to his wife for, I think they've been married for almost 40 years. My grandmother was married. My aunt was married. Quite uncles and aunties married, and they're still married to this day. So I've seen great results of what marriage does and what marriage, how beneficial marriage is, especially to the woman. And I also know what it's like to be a single mother. I know what it's like to be a single mother. I know what it's like to do everything on my own. I know what it's like to have a father that's not as active as he could be. I know what that's like.
Let's stop right there. Okay, so she says she has a great marriage. Only been married for a year. You have not even been married long enough to understand what it is to have any type of marriage at all, because like you self-profess you in the honeymoon stage. You already nigga splaining for this dude. You living in a dream. You married somebody online. You don't know what you're talking about. I don't believe you've seen examples of good long-term working marriages, because if you did, you would not be in this fantasy world, and you would know that to be married is hard. So you haven't even invested enough time to come online and disrespect women that are not married. You haven't been married long enough to even know what it is to be in a marriage. I have been married for over 20 years. I can speak on this, right? I don't live in a fantastical world. If y'all been listening to me for a while, I always tell women that it is very hard to be married, right? It is not no prize to get no ring. Do you see what I'm saying? That is not the be all end all, right? That's why a lot of young black women, in particular, a lot of women in general, are choosing career, career and education over family, and marriage, because in this day and age, I have learned a whole lot online, and I do not look down on any woman that chooses not to be married. It is hard to be married. And I always tell my people, especially my young people, that this is not the be all end all. You do not have to be in a marriage or any type of long-term relationship to feel validated. That is one part of being male identified. To get to the point to where you are in your 40s and you feel like your identity is wrapped up in a freaking ring, to the point to where you got to marry some loser online that you met in a chat room that is anti-black woman, and then you uplift this nigga, is beyond me. And that's what she's doing, right? And she also said, but part of the problem here, if you pay attention, she said she had a father that was not active in her life, right? Number one, I was raised a certain way, right? My mom, my daddy, they were married. My father has, until he passed away in my adulthood, one thing that he would always, teach me, me and my sisters, because I was my daddy's son, because it was three girls, right? We are three girls, right? Is that you don't never have to do nothing that you don't want to do, right? You always have to be very, 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 very careful when you're dealing with other men, right? To the point to where I learned a lot from not only my father, but my uncles as well. I don't know. And then when I grew up, I married a man that was like my father. Now, part of I'm thinking her problem is started in her youth, right? This is why she's gonna go on to talk about a child, because she's really speaking about herself. And I wanted you guys to kind of understand what's going on here. But that was the first red flag for me when she said that her father wasn't in her life. as he should have been, right? And so we're going to go on and listen to her. She still apologized. She's still nigga-splaining. I don't know how she feel like she can throw a ring up in somebody's face, and she ain't even been married long enough to even get the ring cleaned, right? And so, but girl, you living in a dream world. You out here trying to make it seem like you want a prize because you've been married for a year to a nigga you met online. Girl, and you making it seem like, oh, we have a perfect marriage. If you got a perfect marriage, why in the world is he already inboxing other women online? Why are you married to a nigga that's online? Why have you devalued yourself to the point that you gotta link up, you gotta transform yourself into somebody that clearly you are not, okay, in order to get a ring from a loser? Like, I'm confused. And then she goes on to say that she was a single mother for a while. If you have been a single mother for a while, why would you then go on to down other single mothers? This is the personification of a male-identified woman, right? And so I'm also going, but we're going to listen to it a little bit more, but I want to pull up an article talking about male-identified women, right? Because she is the absolute embodiment of a male-identified woman. You are delusional, honey, okay? And if you think this thing right here that you're going through right now, this so-called marriage of yours is going to make you happy or is going to validate you in any kind of way, you're not only fronting for people online, you fronting for your delusions, okay? And then you say you're in a blended family and all of this and all that. I will be afraid. I don't know who that man's baby mama is, but she need to get her kids the hell away from you. Okay? Because you are very problematic. So, yeah, where you get a perfect marriage? Yeah, no marriage is perfect. That's a lie. People come on here and they want to make it seem like, oh, if I get married, I just got a ring and my life is perfect. Girl, this ain't no Disney fairy tale. It's hard to be freaking married. It's an ongoing struggle, right? I'm telling you, it's an ongoing struggle. It's a battle, right? Now I'm older now. We've been married for over 20 years, and it just is what it is now. But at first, it was a struggle. It ain't easy. It ain't no walk in the park. It ain't no damn knight in shining fucking armor. It's hard to deal with somebody else. It's hard to learn how to compromise, especially when you're a strong-willed person like I am. It's hard. It's not no fucking Disney fairy tale. It's not nothing to throw up in somebody's fucking face. It ain't the be-all motherfucking end-all. Okay? And if I was living in this day and age and I was young in this day and age, I wouldn't be worried about no fucking ring. Okay? Because these motherfuckers is crazy. They're too emotional. They're too needy. And anybody got time for that shit. Now that's how it is to be married. But you learn to compromise, right? And if it wasn't for my father and my mother being alive when I first got married, because my father actually brought my husband from home from work with him, right? And I ain't paying no attention to him at first. I told y'all about that. I had just graduated. I was in my career, and I just kind of got caught up, And yes, you have to learn to communicate up to the point to where we have been early on. We went to marriage counseling 3 times. 3 times, okay? For a whole lot of reasons that I'm not going to discuss right now because this ain't about me. But I just don't want nobody to think that's the be-all, end-all if you get a ring. Girl, you are delusional. And you lied to your damn self. You don't know what the hell you talking about. With your disrespectful ass. But anyway, your existence is disrespectful. That's some of the stuff that's coming out of your raggedy mouth. You ought to be shaming yourself. For real. Iris Queen said, woo, child, she was snorting like, quote unquote, you bees want to be me. Don't nobody want to be her. Girl. You are delusional. I wish you hit my link. I tell you that. We can have a real discussion. I bet you won't. Somebody go get her. I dare her to hit my link, so I can inform her that marriage ain't a fairy tale. But anyway, let's listen to some more of this nonsense. Moving right along.
If I come to women and it's not a fact that I have to wave my ring or brag or whatever, even though I do have something to brag about, my man is good to me.
If you have to say your man is good to you and you have to brag about it, that means you living a lie. Bitch, you living a lie. Okay, move right along.
I was one of those chicks that wanted to be married earlier on, like way early in life. And it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. You know why? You know why it didn't happen? Because you refused to work on yourself first. You had to come online, put on a persona, put on a mask that is not even you, and pretty much agree with everything these derogatory men say, get behind them, lift them up in their nonsense and their effery in order to snag this thing right here, what you calling my man is good to me. Girl, you met him online. That tells me everything I need to freaking know. Moving right along.
Was engaged twice. Didn't happen. Didn't want to be married at certain points. When me and Curlin got together, Curlin is a man. Curlin's consistent. Curlin handles motherfucking business. I love Curlin to death. Curlin's still not a perfect person. Every human has their flaws. But when you have two human beings and we're older, we're not young and naive and stupid and thinking that there's not going to be problems or he's just going to be this perfect guy or he's never going to do anything wrong or I'm never going to do anything wrong. We're human beings. But if he is doing what he's supposed to do, and I mean that in saying that he's loving me right and he's being loved right and we're taking care of each other and we are building and making better lives for ourselves, disciplining our children, raising our kids, acquiring wealth, that's something to brag about. When you have a third of...
Let me tell you why it's nothing to brag about, Sister George. Honey, it's nothing to brag about because what you're explaining is what you are supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to do. He's supposed to take care of the home, right? That's what he's supposed to do. So you are clearly not used to non-dysfunctional men, right? Because you really think you done found something that you really don't have, and you know you don't got it now, so you come online and you lie. That's what this braggadocious this hubris is, right? This is you living in the land of delusion, okay? But it ain't nothing to brag about when he doing something that he's supposed to do, if he doing it. All right? I mean, what? That's what he's supposed to do. I'm not impressed. Like, I would expect nothing less. Is this the first time you done had a man that's willing to take care of the home? That says a lot, too. Okay? Because that means you used to dysfunctional Negroes that don't give a darn about you. Now, you said you've been engaged twice. You a single mom. You all this and all that. You know, you had to come online and put on this mask to become something that you're not, all in order to get a freaking ring. You had to do all of that. You done went through all this time. And you still ain't getting it right. Child, moving right along. Let me start the audio again. Oh, Lord.
Black women that are married at this point right now. You have a third of Black women that are married. When I go out, and I get out the house. I talk to a lot of different people. I have friends, I have family. I talk to a lot of different people. A lot of women do want to be in long-term relationships. A lot of women are out here making the money. They balling out of control. When we go out to eat, it look like a group of doughboys at the table. They ordering up shit. They buying champagne. They balling out of control. But the only thing that's missing is a counterpart, is a companion. Somebody that's gonna be there for them, somebody that's gonna help take care of them if they're sick or if they're in need for whatever. And it's not just a sex thing or some drop off dick. So I don't look at it as a thing of trying to throw my marriage in somebody's face, but trying to understand, and not understand, but trying to explain the benefits of marriage and how marriage really does enhance your life if you are married to the right person. I went through, when I say I've gone through so much shit, when I say my husband has gone through so much shit, we've gone through a lot. And I'm not talking about YouTube shit at all, but in our own personal lives, we've gone through a lot. We've conquered a lot, like a lot that people have no idea of. We've conquered a lot. When you're able to get with somebody that's really able to love you down to your core, I don't have to front for Curlin. I can be exactly who the fuck I am.
That's a lie. And she ain't even been married long enough to be able to know if that man loves her down to her core. Girl, he met you online. He don't even know you. He married an online persona. And you married an online persona. What do you mean? This is what I mean by delusional. Okay? And then you have to, and in a marriage, you don't even know, especially when you're still in the honeymoon stage, which is a year, you don't even really know that person. Do you see what I'm saying? For somebody, in order to love you down to your core, that takes years of work, right? So, girl, how do you know? And men have to choose you to see, women, it's different. One difference between men and women when it comes to relationships is women, we are very nurturing, and and then a lot of the times we make a mistake. We make bad choices because we make choices based upon what our heart feels, right? And instead of our mind, we want to listen to our heart over our minds, right? And for that reason, you make a lot of bad choices. She made a desperate choice because, she in her 40s, and, her be all end all is that dang on ring on her finger, right? So she live in this fantasy world is what she living in. Girl, he ain't known you long enough to love you down to your core. Do you even know if he chosen to put you in your, just because he married to you don't mean he done chose to put you in his heart? Because like I said, sometimes as women, we don't have a choice but to put somebody in our heart, because we lead with our hearts a lot of time. We lead with our emotions. But men have to choose to put you in their heart. Okay? I'm just saying. But I want to read this. Earth Queen says she goes up and tells all the men how she gives her man all her money. He handles the finances. So you turning on, you turn over your personal wealth to a man that you really don't know. Really? This what we doing? This how we living? This is the advice that you're giving women in this day and age. Child. Okay, girl. All right. You sound like a statistic to me. But anyway, moving right along. Let's listen to some more. Mm-hmm. Oh, and you know what? That's right. I meant to talk about that too. Called Happy Couple wants to stop them or shame them for balling. She mentioned when she go out and she she see all these single ladies and they chilling, and they drinking and having a good time. And then in her mind, the only thing missing is a mate. The only thing missing is a man. The only thing missing is a ring. What if they don't want that ring? What if they don't want to be bothered with that? What if they are choosing their career in their own personal happiness, over all of this? What if it's their choice to be single? Because you can't choose to be single, right? What if that's their choice? What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that choice, right? I always tell y'all, some of y'all that be listening to me, to always divest from abuse, right? We got a lot of divestment channels. We got a lot of, derogatory rhetoric coming against women. And I always suggest, I always let you guys know that when my idea of divestment is divesting from any type of abuse, divesting from anything that is not gonna make you happy. Okay. And if being in a dysfunctional relationship ain't gonna make you happy, then you need to get out of it and divest away from it. You need to choose yourself. I'm just saying. I'm trying to scroll back down. So anyway. Oh yeah, they be cutting up. As long as they don't get too far. Doesn't mean they mind their own business. She's assuming they want marriage, right? They could be married, but she wouldn't know it. She just assuming. She just assuming. Assuming is not cool. Olivia, you going in. I'm cooking. Well, listen, thank you for real. Oh no problem. I seen something up here. Hold on a minute. Okay, so let's play some more of the audio, okay? Because we ain't even got to the good part yet. Hold on. Let me cue it back up here. Okay.
He pushes me. He's proud of me. He motivates me. I motivate him. I try to find things out about him that nobody's ever been able to tell him.
In a year.
So I don't think of that as bragging, but I feel like I should be able to talk about the benefits, because when I do hear a lot of women and women talk about every aspect of men that is so fucked up, and how men have played them, how men have ghosted them, how men have run through them and have treated them like shit. I've been there. I try to talk about it from all.
I believe she's telling the truth when she says she's been with all these type of very dysfunctional men. That is what has formed her mindset. Okay, because you made a whole lot of bad choices in your life. That is why you are the way that you are right now, Sister George. Okay, it's because you made all of these bad choices. Now you've made another bad choice by marrying somebody that you met online. You still in the midst. Y'all are involved with y'all. Y'all marriage is a marriage based on avatars. It's a marriage based on online personas, right? And so we really gonna see how this gonna go for you, And anyway, I don't know what that's about. I'm gonna let it stand for a minute. But anyway, let's continue. Huh.
Sides. I feel like sometimes I get a bad rap because people will only go from one aspect of a conversation, and they'll take one aspect of it, but then when I am talking about problems and shit that I've gone through, people don't really highlight that and say, okay, well, this is a balanced perspective. People will take one perspective or one opinion. Now, I have opinions about Kevin Samuels. I have opinions about people dancing on his grave. I have opinions about that. But if I sit here and tell you that I never...
Now, from what I understand, is she was speaking out against women, because women don't feel sorry, because Kevin Samuels died of a heart attack, on top of an alleged transgender. So she's not good with that because, like I said, she's male identified. And so I heard some of the derogatory things that she was saying towards women, because they are glad that he is gone to hell in a handbasket, in a pink feathered boa, probably handbasket, and because she's male identified, and she's not good with that, right? So she's been coming out and speaking against that. And the women that don't agree with her have been speaking out against her crazy sounding ass. Okay, and it's crazy. But anyway, let's go on. I was trying to read this.
Agreed with everything that Kevin Samuel said, people generally will skip over that and say, well, you supported him in this message, so that means you fully supported him. Kevin and I have had it out.
That doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything that Kevin says. But
right.
But you bringing that up, that brings me to the next thing. Because now with this whole inbox situation, you're right. Bomb Cherry never said, and I covered that in my monologue. She never said that he said anything inappropriate. He just said that your man was in my DMs.
Right. But we know what the implication means.
She did it in such a way where it seemed like he was in the DMs, you know.
Right. Of course. But Faith, even when I talk to Bomb, and I'll tell this to anybody, no woman can come tell me shit about my man. No woman can influence a decision in my household. Nobody is in our household but me and him and God. Mm-hmm. That's it. If I'm ready to leave, then that's what it is. If he's ready to leave, that's what it is. But nobody
wants you to leave your husband.
No, and you know, like me and Mom talked about this morning, and I explained it to her. Me and Curlin was never gonna fight if Curlin, let's just say it happened. Let's just say it was something inappropriate. Me and Curlin would handle what me and Kurt would have to handle. But at the end of the day, me and Curlin are still in a very, 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 very...
What she telling y'all is no matter what he do, she ain't going nowhere. That's what she's saying, and that's why she is online defending her stance. She one of them women that you can walk all over her as long as she got a man. Any old type of man at all will do, right? It don't matter what he do, she still ain't gonna leave. That's what she explaining right now. That means you are desperate and delusional and pathetic, and you have no fucking backbone, bitch. That's what that means. You have low self-esteem. The reason why you are male identified is because you hate yourself. And you feel like if you don't have a ring or you don't have a man in your life, any old type of man at all, you don't feel fucking validated. Right? But your self-esteem comes from you. That is weird. Okay? And you too old to be acting like this, by the way. Child.
A very deep honeymoon stage, baby. I'm being loved the right fucking way. And baby, if it was anything that I ever had to brag on, it's that being loved the right way, being able to flourish in that, being able to be abundant in that. It's a beautiful fucking feeling, and I refuse to let anybody diminish that. So if a bitch, I'm not gonna call Bomb a bitch right now because that's not the capacity I'm in. But if a woman
wait, did y'all hear that animosity? I'm not gonna call Bomb a bitch right now because that's not the space I'm in. So you do feel away. Now on one hand, you saying, no matter what Curlin do, I ain't gonna leave my man. And on the other hand, you want to call her a B, because you know that she was telling the truth. What she was implying was the truth. You know it, but you being loved the right way. Okay, I'd rather be respected, bitch. Because if you respected me and you do what you're supposed to do in my home, that's love to me. Okay. Because I know that you got me in my heart. I know that you have me in your heart. You have chosen to put me in your heart because you are respecting me. All right. And you are doing what you're supposed to do, which is provide and protect. Okay. Among other things. But number one is respect. Your man clearly don't respect you, and you know that. But no matter what he do, you just done told the whole world that you ain't going nowhere. Your man is probably a much right man. Y'all know what a much right man is? A much right man is what old women used to call them men that fool around. In the old days, and probably to this day, you can have a man. He got 2 or 3 different families, right? He got a man on. He got you on this side of town. He got another whole family on the other side of town. He got girlfriends in between families. That's called a much right man. One woman got just as much right to him as another. She married to a much right man, and she don't want to, admit to it. But okay, let's continue.
Come to me.
Here's the thing. Now, she did try to throw a monkey wrench in there, and I recognize a monkey wrench.
Yeah.
And she threw something out there to see if you were going to fight.
Yeah.
Here's what you don't agree with, because I knew exactly when I saw her do it. I knew, I was like, man, she's throwing something out there. But when you came in there and she put you on the panel, you were immediately like, you were on, girl. You don't. Did you listen to that last stream? You were mad. You weren't little mad. You were big mad.
Yeah, but you know what it is, though. I'm gonna tell you what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I am probably not a crowd favorite. I'm not a crowd favorite, and I get that. I understand that about myself.
No, I'm not either.
But when I feel like I have somebody coming for me, and they coming for me, and they coming for me, and I'll sit there and I'll laugh about it because I know who I am on the outside. Baby, I done been in anger management more times than anybody can count. My temper is horrible. When you come for me and mine, I don't give a fuck who it is. I don't care. Don't do that. That's the wrong move.
The thing. She was fishing. You know,
she was. And
I said to myself, I hope. See, this is what I was hoping. I was hoping that Curlin would just say, I love my wife. I would never do that. I was hoping that he would say that, and that you wouldn't say anything, because she was fishing. She didn't have anything.
I know she didn't.
When she pulled up that first so-called proof, it had no picture and a misspelled name, and I said she got nothing. That's when I went over to Rue's panel, and I said, I know good and damn well Curlin is not out here doing this. But the more you got up there, you kept arguing back and forth with her. And then you posted that post that you posted. It was a post of somebody on the inside of a dummy account having a conversation. How do you get that?
The post was from one of Curlin's friends. One of Curlin's friends posted a message that he received from the dummy account and was like, hey, somebody's inboxing me from this account saying that this is you.
She's lying.
It wasn't, but like I explained to her this morning, nobody can come tell me shit about him.
See, she don't care.
And I broke up today.
Mm-hmm.
If he was like, you know what, I'm done, I'm tired, I can't deal with you and this YouTube shit, I'm out. If Curlin decided to break up with me today, it wouldn't be a goddamn thing bad that I would say about that man. Not a goddamn thing. Nobody can come tell me anything about somebody that I'm playing up with, somebody that I've built a bond with.
Nobody should ever be able to tell you anything about your man.
And the whole thing to me, though, Faith, the whole thing to me was, you know, people was like, oh my God, Curlin was in her inbox. Oh my God. You know, people.
That's what it looks like, but it looks bad when you take the bait.
Yeah, well, I'll say this.
Because now, if you can't nobody tell you about your man, but you up there arguing with him.
Let me say this.
Exactly, because she took the bait. She immediately went on defense. Like every panel, somebody's talking about this. She's jumping on the panel. She's on the defense. You own the defense, because even if nothing was inappropriate said, the fact that Bob put it out there made her feel away. She feel away about that, right? So if you're doing these shenanigans online and you real defensive about it, girl, how you moving in the real world? Are you pulling up to his job because you think he fooling around with some women on a job? Like, are you follow? She one of them bitches that'll follow, you know, just lay in wait and follow the man and you know, try to go through his phone at night because she insecure, you know, because she know she in the midst of a very dysfunctional relationship, but in front of her family or friends, she'll try to make it seem like everything perfect until it get out, you know, in the community that he been fooling around this whole time. She one of them kind. She run around trying to put out fires, right? Because she in the delusional, you know, she delusional about, oh, I'm in a perfect relationship. But the whole time you insecure about the whole thing because you know the nigga ain't no good. Okay? That's what's going on. That we know, we all know women like this. Right? I know I do. So discontinue.
This, Faith, let me say this, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a perfect creature myself.
No.
Faith, I will cuss a bitch out.
No.
Faith.
I know you cussed me out a couple times. Remember?
Faith. it's not that baby Kirtland could have hop, skip, jump, whatever. And if I feel like you coming for me the wrong way, and it depends, because some days are better than others. If I don't feel like dealing with your shit, and I feel like you want to fuck around with me like that, I be with the shits. Let's go. I'm a Sag. I'm big Sag. I was raised by a Scorpio.
My baby girl is a Sag. Y'all are
yeah.
Sag.
Very much so. So it's like, it's not a thing that I have to fight every time I'm invited to one. But if it's a day that I feel like fighting with your ass, I'll get up there and cuss your ass out. Me and Bomb talked this morning. Bomb ain't really had no problems with me, baby. And that, so I feel like Bomb gets her rocks off like that. That's what keep Bomb young. Bomb fuck with people just to see what the fuck gonna come out.
He threw it out there, and I'm like, man, Sister George, don't take that. Don't say shit. Because she didn't.
Oh, you know what? But I didn't care. And that's
she didn't care. You cared because you still jumping on every panel defending it.
It's not a fact that I have to brag on.
You care.
Brag on. I do have something to brag on. It is what it is.
But you don't know.
He's a nice looking man.
Kirtland's handsome as fuck. Listen, baby. But I'm not a person that feels like I'm not worth being chose. I was worthy of being chose. Everybody's worthy of being chose. You get what you get. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's worthy of whatever.
It sounded like she was chose to be the damn maid and a stepmama and watch his kids and the babysitter, the nanny, when he got his kids when they're not home with her mother. Girl, was you chose to be the damn nanny? Like, I'm confused. Like, what you mean? Child. Anyway, moving right along. And for you not to be bothered, you sure are awful bothered. I'm just saying. Right, I's married now. I say I's married now. Child.
I'm not saying that, you're not going to get this or you're not going to get that. Time and time has proven that the shit that the manosphere talks about, a lot of talking points have been disproven over and over again. We know that.
No.
I've said this on my channel 1,000 times. I will tell what they got right, and y'all know I will get in their ass if I feel like they got something wrong.
This stupid bitch, they ain't got nothing right, okay? Nothing. They ain't nothing but a whole bunch of He-Man black woman haters. They ain't got nothing right. And for the simple fact that she's saying they got anything right at all, that proves that she's freaking male identified. I don't like her either, Stacey Nelson TV. And then you married, hey, uppity, and you married one of them. Girl, you are foolish. But like I said, just like you got them, you're going to lose them. So before we go on, because now at this point of the video, let me see who's on the thing.
But what I've noticed
Black
is that
Womansphere has clicked the link, and they're finna get into the derogatory commentary.
But people will take certain talking points and they'll run with that, and they'll say, well, they over there, and they mammy-ing and muling, and they mammy-ing and muling, and they taking up for these black men.
Now let me tell y'all this: when she's starting to go on this diatribe right here about the manosphere, this is her deflecting away from the original conversation. And the original conversation is the fact that your man, your newly married man, is in another woman's DMs. That's the conversation. Okay? So, let me try to pull this up and see if I can, because I wanted to talk about male identification real fast. Let me see if I can share this. I don't know if it'll come up or not, but child, we can try. Let me try to share my screen here. Hold on a minute. Yeah, that's right. She mad because she knows she chose wrong. I absolutely agree with that. Do I hit the Chrome tab? Hold on. Yeah, here you go. Let's see. Let me see if I can share this with you guys. Okay. Let me know if y'all. Let me shoot. I have to turn on. Hold on one second. I'm gonna have to see if I can pull this up on my other device. Let me leave that there. 125. Go over here to my video and click on here. Oh, let me cut the volume down. Oh, so we can see it on the screen. Okay. All right. So this is an article that I pulled up. Is actually from 2015. It says what it means to be a woman identified or a male identified. What it means to be woman identified or male identified. See, these terms were coined in the 70s during the height of the feminist movement, right? So let's read a little bit of this article, because we have a lot of words that we throw out on YouTube, especially in spaces like this, and a lot of people don't really understand what it is that they're listening to. So I want to take it back. A lot of people feel like they coined the term, but these terms were coined back in the 70s during the feminist movement, right? And so that's the reason why I wanted to bring up this article, because a lot of people, when you're saying that this woman is male identified, a lot of them don't even understand what it is that you're talking about, right? So y'all know me. I like to do a little teaching in the midst of the drama this surrounding, right? And so yeah. So we're gonna look at a couple of things on this article, right? So the article goes on to state that the idea of being quote unquote woman identified or male identified is a concept that came out of the feminist consciousness raising of the 1970s and seems to have fallen out of use. But it hasn't fallen out of use because we're using that terminology online, right? Male identified. We're using it right to this day, right? Says I rarely hear feminists use, maybe it fell out of term during, amongst the feminists, right? But we know that a lot of things, a lot of terminologies have been brought online. Sometimes those terms have been bastardized, and turned around and made into something, that clearly is not the origin of what it was supposed to be, right? So anyway, currently the word identify is only being used in the context of transgenderism, where people identify as a certain gender, but that's not what I'm talking about here. Woman identified is usually it was used in the feminist consciousness raising groups had to do with women's identification with their oppressors. Women seeing ourselves in terms of how we are identified by men, right? This is Sister George's problem, right? Her identity is dependent on this man that she met online. Her identity is wrapped up around having a freaking ring from a reprobate. But anyway, so there is a book called In Feminism. It's called Feminism is for Everybody, and it was by Bell Hooks, right? So in this book, a little excerpt, it says, quote, in the early stages of the feminist movement, we used the phrase woman identified or man identified woman to distinguish between those activists who did not choose lesbianism, but who did choose to be woman identified, meaning their ideological existence did not depend on male affirmations. Male identified females were those who dropped feminist principles in a flash if they interfered with romantic heterosexual concerns. Okay. And I absolutely agree with this, because she cannot live without male affirmation, and she doesn't want to see reality, right? That's what I was talking about earlier, right? She is wrapped up into the romanticized version of what a marriage is, right? And so let's go on. She says, in a very wrong matter of history concern, they were the females who also supported men more than women. Now we know that Sister George clearly supports men more than women. He goes on to say, who could always see things from the male perspective. Okay, she clearly sees things from the male perspective, right? It goes on to state that teaching one of my first women's studies courses in San Francisco, I was confronted by a group of radical lesbian students who wanted to know why I was still, quote unquote, into men. After class one day, in the parking lot, there was a showdown, right? She says at that point, an older black woman, lesbian student who had worked in the sex industry, having much sexual intercourse with men, even as she remained clear about her lesbian identity, defended by feminist honor by declaring, quote, unquote, she's a woman identified woman who's into sex with men. That's her right. But she's still down with the cause. And there was a quote from Bill Hicks' book. So another little bit of this article goes on to state that, y'all please hit the like button if you will, I appreciate it. Goes on to state that the woman who is male identified requires, right? Listen to this. So the woman who is male identified requires male affirmation to confirm her existence, and she sees things from the male perspective. That is the definition of Sista George. That is why I said she is the personification of being a male identified woman, right? And it is very, very dangerous when you get a male identified woman coming online saying the things that are coming out of her mouth, especially when you know that a lot of young people are listening, right? Because this is horrible. I was side at a certain person when they said coined the term male identified, right? But grading and large used to be a huge Bill Hooks fan. Yeah, blue skies, I know what you mean. But that term was coined in the 70s. I just read that to y'all, right? Miss Olivia, I'm wondering, are there two different types of feminism? Those who fight for female rights and those who totally believe that women don't need men. I mean, like, I think there's the feminists. I think that some advocate for some things, the other ones advocate for others. There are some feminists that only want to be like we got the men going their own way or the SYSBM. There are some feminists that believe that women should only deal with women in every aspect, in relationship, of finance, socioeconomic status, everything. But then you have those women that are feminists, that are in heterosexual relationships. And so, but I think but they still believe in their independence, and their freedom, as women. And so I think there's one feminist movement, but there are, a lot of, subgroups that are going on, and that's with any movement, you know what I mean? And so, yeah. That's what I think. Blue Sky says, thank you, Olivia. I knew for a fact it came from Bill. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember reading that Tumblr a lot, and that's how I got truly introduced to Bill. Absolutely, Blue Sky. So yeah, that's one reason why. That's another reason why I mentioned it, because like I said, there's a lot of misinformation online because a lot of people don't read, and because a lot of people take things at face value. That's another reason why I wanted to pull up this article to let you guys know the origin of the word male identified and where it and who coined the term, right? And so let me read a little bit more of this, right, so we can get back to the audio, right? It's absolutely okay to be single and happy, right? You can be in a relationship and still be alone. It is possible to be in a relationship, a marriage, and still be alone. Okay? And it don't mean you lonely because you're not in a relationship. Okay? It don't mean you're lonely. It really don't. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's go on. So let me read that last little definition again. So the woman who is male identified requires male affirmation to confirm her existence, and she sees things from a male perspective. The article goes on to state that in compulsory heterosexuality and lesbian existence, Adrian Rich describes male identification as, quote unquote, the casting of one's social, political, and intellectual allegiances with men. Now, does this sound like somebody we know? Sounds like that to me, right? Goes on to say that she also she also quotes Catherine Berry, who wrote in her book Female Sexual Slavery, that the effect of male identification means, quote unquote, internalizing the values of the colonizer and actively participating in carrying out the colonization of oneself and one's sex. I absolutely agree with that. Male identification is the act whereby women place men above women. Now, we know that Sister George clearly places men above women, above her own self, because that is where she gets her affirmations from, right? Well, women, including themselves, in credibility, status, and importance in most situations, regardless of the comparative quality that the women may bring to the situation, right? Interaction with women is seen as lesser form of relating on every level. And I believe that absolutely defines Sister George's mindset, right? So when you hear this very, 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 very disturbing rhetoric come out of her mouth, we know that it's problematic. This is the reason why she gets her total validation from men and their talking points and their beliefs, right? If they don't believe it, she don't believe it. If they for it, she for it. Now let's listen to this. My generation might also call this phenomenon internalized misogyny. We're seeing a lot of male identification in young women today. Now, this is 2015, as they actively embrace patriarchal culture while claiming it's empowering. Now, we know that patriarchal culture is not empowering to women. Matriarchal culture, matriarchal energy is empowering to women, right? So let's go on. But some of these people are twisted in the head, like Sister George said. The cause of these women becoming male identified is their female socialization. We are trained to view ourselves as inferior to men. Some are, but a lot aren't. You know, a lot of women aren't trained in that way, right? Especially younger women, as inferior to men, to seek male approval and to submit to male demands. The article goes on to state that historically, in many cases, still, the cause of women becoming male identified is necessity and survival. Listen to this. This is very important when it comes to Sister George and that stuff she said about that 10-year-old girl. And we're going to break that down. Historically, and in many cases still, the cause of women becoming male identified is necessity/survival. Women are forced to be male identified by patriarchy because the price of woman identification is too costly for women to be. And it's concerning some women to bear, too costly for them to bear. And you have to wonder why she employed this male identification as a survival mechanism. What does that say about her past trauma? What does that say about her childhood trauma? You see what I'm saying? It goes on to say, in The Right-Wing Women, Andrea Dworkin describes how women conform to male desires out of necessity. Okay? So this is probably, this is what I believe is going on with Sister George, and I wanted to read some of this to y'all, right? And in this part of the article, it says returning to female sexual slavery, right? Berry writes about the effects of sexual slavery on women and the several strategies they use to get through it. Women are trained by pimps. Pay attention to this. Women are trained by pimps to remove women from their friends and families and impose new identities upon them. Those women who are unable to escape sexual slavery have to define themselves in terms of how their pimps define them in order to survive. Now, at one point in time in the video, I don't know if she said it yet, but she's going to say, or she has already said, that she at one point in time is surrounded herself by sex workers, right? So I'm thinking, so if you surrounded yourself by sex workers, you're pretty much alluding to the fact that you possibly could have been a sex worker. You possibly could have a pimp and you picked up this male identification as a means to survive your situation. Now you got to listen to the words that are coming out of people's mouths. Okay? So let's read a little bit. Just pay attention to what we're saying. Listen, remember this part about the pimp that I just read you. And they use that male identification as a survival mechanism, okay, in order to survive, right? I don't know if y'all can see it on the screen. Take a screenshot, blow it up. But what we are doing is dissecting Sister George's mentality and why she says what she says online and how she moves the way that she moves. There is a reason for everything. She just didn't wake up one morning and decide that she wanted to hate women as, you know, and hate herself, right? And identify with males just because. There's a reason for it. And it's weird, okay? It's weird. But anyway, it goes on to say that, quote, accepting the perception of others is taking the path of least resistance, right? So we know that I do not take the path of least resistance on any topic, right? Online a little bit, but offline I absolutely don't take the path of least resistance. I'm very confrontational, right? I'm very strong-willed, and I'm set in my freaking way. And sometimes my nieces and nephews will call me mean and surly, but that's all right. It is what it is. I move through life with my patriarchal energy because I know who my energy because I know exactly who I am, and especially no man, not even my husband, can tell me nothing about me or direct me to do anything that I don't want to freaking do. Now, we compromise in my relationship. We practice reciprocity. You do for me, I do for you. You do a little for me, I do a little for you. You do a lot for me, I do a lot for you. That's compromise. You have to learn to compromise. This chick ain't even been married long enough to learn how to compromise, right? She has compromised herself. She has given this fool that she met online her all. And it's unfortunate because it's gonna come to no good end. Because what you don't understand, Sister George, is men, they say they want a submissive woman, especially black men, but they really don't. They really don't. Because they need that back and forth in their life. They need it. They need to chase. They need to hunt, and they need to chase. So if you just sitting there like a willing victim doing anything they say do, they're going to treat you any kind of way because they are bored and they can. That is another mistake that you're making by submitting. They really don't want submissive women. They really need the back and forth because it is competition for them. And it keeps them on their toes. So if you think keeping a man by being submissive is going to keep that man with you for years and years, it's not. He's going to move on to somebody that he can be challenged by. They love a challenge. I don't care if they say they want you to be submissive or not. It's a damn lie. They love a challenge, right? If I was to stop saying anything, if I would have been a quote unquote submissive woman to my husband when we first got married, even up until now, child, we wouldn't be married right to this day, right? We argue because it's passion. We go back and forth because we love one another. We challenge one another. My husband is actually the calm and I'm the damn storm, okay? I'm the damn storm. He the ones that calm me the fuck down. 2 out of the 3 times we've been through marriage counseling is my fault on purpose just because I can. Because I wasn't ready to compromise. Because I refused. Anyway, moving right along. Let me finish reading this. Let me start over again. Accepting the perception of others is taking the path of least resistance. That is survival for some women. That is survival for some women, y'all. It is the other side of madness. Those who are not broken either by seasoning or earlier childhood abuse. Pay attention. Pay attention. Those who are not broken either by seasoning, meaning you are taught to be submissive, or earlier childhood abuse, will be able to resist the definition imposed on them by others and even recognize their own unnamed victimization, right? But those who comply with their captors, listen, with their captors' definition will take on their work in earnest. It becomes their only source of self-respect. Such a woman will try to prove that she is the best that she is the best damn whore on the block. Listen to y'all. She the best damn whore. Now, when I'm reading this, think about some of Sister George's terminology, right? That we're going to listen to. But that's why I want to read this to you guys. Their captor's definition, but those who comply with their captor's definition will take on their work in earnest. You know, they are trying to be the best bottom bitch they can be, right? In other words, right? It becomes their only source of self-respect. Such a woman will try to prove that she is the best damn whore on the block, and the toughest, right? She learns to roll tricks and shoplift for her pimp. In interviews with ex-prostitutes, I have often noticed a lingering pride in their work. Now, what she said, I surrounded myself by prostitutes. I guess women of the night, or whatever the terminology is, right? She said, when they tell the rest of us that we are straight, judgmental, and prudish, they are surviving by defending the definition they have accepted of themselves and making the most of it, right? That was deep, right? I'm like, baby, come through with this article, right? In case of the wife who has no choice but to depend on her husband, and the prostituted woman kept enslaved by a pimp, she absolutely must adopt the definition of herself that has been decided for her and the values of her captor. Her survival depends on it. The thing about Sister George is she adopted this online persona. I don't know if it was taught to her by a captor, but she has brought this this persona, this survival mechanism. She's brought it to YouTube, and she snagged a dude that could relate to her sort of mentality. That's how she got him, by adapting this survival mechanism, right? By putting on the cape for these niggas, right? That's how she snagged the one that she got right now that ain't no damn good. Period. It's crazy. Let me read this last little bit. Even women who are able to live on their own and earn their own living will often become male identified because our culture is controlled by men. Women grow up learning male ways of thinking. Because men still hold most of the positions of power and own most of the wealth and property, the workplace is under male control, and so women must still submit to male demands in order to earn a living. Women today are just as likely to have their minds colonized by patriarchy and to actively promote their own colonization. And she absolutely does that. She got a whole panel about promoting her own colonization, right? Her own patriarchal mindset. The woman who is woman identified is the radical feminist woman, the witch, the marriage resistor, the rebel, the spinster aunt, or in recent days, the TERF, the TERF. I don't even know what that means. She is the one who can see the sexism around her and who insists on living life on her own terms. Her allegiance is to other women. Okay? For a woman to become woman identified is a journey and a process. It requires analyzing society and culture and looking at the ways in which men have controlled our beliefs, our thoughts, our activities. It requires looking beyond patriarchal culture and imagining what the world would look like if women were in control of our own destinies. It involves resisting patriarchy and living on our own terms by our own rules. It involves putting women first and fighting to liberate our women. Now we know that there's a fight going on right now, because they're trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. Right? They want to roll back time. These insecure, uber emotional men want to actually roll back time when it comes to a woman controlling her own body. That is what this is about, right? It is the work of the feminist movement to become woman identified, to help our women become woman identified too. We must bring back the term woman identified, since becoming so is an important part of our work as feminists. So I'm gonna stop right here. Oh, I read the whole article. Okay. Well, anyway, let me stop sharing my screen, so we can get back to this audio. But I really wanted to, read that article to you guys, because it perfectly explains, it absolutely explains Sister George's mentality. And like I said, sometimes we throw around a whole lot of terminologies, in this space that people don't. Oh, Lord, I hope I don't mess up my stream. That people don't even understand the meaning of. They don't even understand the terminology. So that's why I wanted to share this with you guys. Okay, and thank you. Right, the article is good, right, Tro? So anyway, let's get back to this audio. Because we ain't even got to the good part yet, right? Let me pull it up again. Hold on 1 second. Uh-oh. So I'm gonna have to go out of this. Let's see. Go back into this. Oh, here's a commercial on here. Thank God the audio was down anyway. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm gonna turn the volume back up, and we're gonna listen to some more of the article. We're gonna listen to some more of the audio. Again, this audio is on the channel called The Faith Factor. Now on the panel, Sister George is on the panel. Womansphere has popped up on the panel, and of course, The Faith Factor is still on the panel, right? So, let's get into the meat of the conversation, right? He has to even listen to the audio because I get pissed off all over again. It's hard to listen to it.
Wrong. Sometimes I feel like I have been in that position. I'm not gonna sit here in front of nobody. I don't have to.
Because I have. You're sitting up here protecting Kevin Samuels.
It's not protecting Kevin Samuels.
Yes, it is protecting Kevin Samuels.
No, this is what I'll say.
You're telling black women that they don't have a right to celebrate. They don't have a right to say.
You know what? Because I've seen things that's happened in our community with people who have done far worse, where they've had respect when they died. And I'm a spiritual person. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't talk about it a lot.
Sure.
But to actually celebrate a man's death that has not impacted you personally is a goddamn shame. And that's something.
But I disagree. It impacted a whole lot of people personally. That's why they're glad he gone. He was really messing with some women's self-esteem, because some women, like we just talked about, find the validation from how men think about them and how men judge them. So he was absolutely impacting the actual lives of some of these women that were listening to him, because that is going on a lot online. People seeking validation from other people. So he did affect. I heard one part. I heard another video where they say a woman was contemplating suicide because of something that came out of this fool's mouth. Now, we as women, us over here, we are critical thinkers. We are womanists. We are strong. We are bold. It ain't nothing nobody can say online about me or about women that's going to affect me mentally. But you have to take into account there are people online that are affected by this. A perfect example of what's just happened in Buffalo, an 18-year-old, like I said, online radicalized via white supremacists, and then went in a predominantly black neighborhood and killed 10 black people. So it does matter what some people, especially young people, are listening to online, because it affects their lives offline. So she is stupid, and wrong when she just made that statement. Anyway, let's continue.
that I can't roll with.
How do you know that Kevin did not impact a lot of?
Can I say something, Faith, right quick? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Faith.
Go ahead, Woman Spirit. I'm sorry.
Hey, Sister George. Hey, Sister George.
Hey, how you doing, Woman Spirit?
Salute. And tell Concrete Rose congratulations too on her nuptials and her marriage.
We saw your we sure appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, much love. But I wanna say something about the women. Like you, Faith, Sister George, there's a common misconception. The misconception is that because you guys are willing to talk and communicate with men and to be co-ed, is that you're mammies and you're mules. And that terminology from the community that I come from has been thrown around a lot.
Sister George is absolutely a mammy and a mule. She put on her cape. She is delusional. She is male identified. The bitch is living in a dream world. Okay, moving right along.
A lot. Which is why I created a new term called battle axe. Because I've seen Faith go in on men for disrespecting Black women. I've seen you do it, Sister George, and so have I seen Concrete Rose. So have I seen Mahogany. Here's the issue. It's people that are females, and then there's women. And that is the distinction, and that's where we need to.
Sister George is a female. She is a male identified female. Okay? She a whole nigga. That's what the fuck she is. Okay? Moving right along.
Learn to separate who we sleep with and what our status is like in our relationships about how we think about each other as women. And I think that you are gaining the negative prospects and ideology from other Black women that you get is because you're not sympathetic, Sister George. You're not. I'm just going ahead. Let me, I like you because I think I get you. I know Black women. I understand Black women. I take Black women to the lab. I'm a womanist, so I love Black women. So I get you and I understand you. But at the same time, you're so unsympathetic. You just really are. And you almost operate from a patriarchal perspective that throws women off. And it makes women look at you like, are you an enemy or are you my friend? And it's like they don't know how to take you, Sister George. That's just really what it is. I do because that's how much I study Black women. I'm heavily invested. I'm Black women empowerment for real. So I get you and I see where you're coming from. And I don't think that's it. But sometimes you get a little like cocky with your approach. You get real cocky with that marriage of yours. It's like, I feed my husband. What you doing? Okay, a man is going to eat whether you feed him or not, Sister George. I don't know whether you know that.
Oh, shoot. My fault, y'all. Hold on a minute. I clicked. I might touch the dang on thing. Hold on. Oh, God, I can't believe I did it. Y'all know this phone is touchy. There we go. Shoot. And
I was serious, man.
Oh, my God. Hold on, y'all. Let me get the commercial out the way. Okay. Sorry.
I feel like I have been in that position. I'm not going to sit here in front of nobody. I don't have to. I have.
You're sitting up here protecting Kevin Samuels.
It's not protecting Kevin Samuels.
Yes, it is protecting Kevin Samuels.
No, this is what I'll say.
You're telling Black women that they don't have a right to celebrate. They don't have a right to say.
You know what? Because I've seen things that's happened in our community with people who have done far worse, where they've had respect when they died. And I'm a spiritual person. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't talk about it a lot. But to actually celebrate a man's death that has not impacted you personally is a goddamn shame. And that's something that I can't roll with.
Once again, a lot of the women that are celebrating his death were impacted personally. Okay, me personally, I'm offended with everything that he said towards Black women, especially women that have been affected by the things that came out of not only his mouth, but Sister George's mouth. So when she keeps saying it over and over again, I absolutely disagree with her stance because it is not proper. It is a lie. She a whole weirdo. He a whole weirdo. They both, them niggas, are whole weirdos. Okay? Mr. George, Sister George, sir, you and what's his name? The late Kevin Samuels, the one that's twerking on the devil right now. You're ridiculous. Moving right along.
How do you know that Kevin did not impact a lot of?
Can I say something, Faith, right quick? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, did I touch the wrong part?
Hey, Sister George. Hey, Sister George.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, y'all. I done rolled it back.
Concrete Rose, congratulations to on her nuptials and her marriage.
A lot of these niggas ain't shit, but a lot of these bitches ain't shit. A lot of talking points have been disproven over and over again. We know that. I've said this on my channel 1,000 times.
I'm sorry, I lost the space.
I will tell what they got right, and y'all know
they don't get nothing right
if I feel like they got something wrong. But what I've noticed is that people will take certain talking points, and don't get me wrong, some of the shit I agree with. Some things I do agree with.
She agree with everything they say.
People will take certain talking points and they'll run with that and they'll say, well, you know, they over there and, you know, they mammy and muling and they mammy and muling and they taking up for these black men. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I feel like I have been in that position. I'm not going to sit here in front of nobody. I don't have to. I have.
You up here protecting Kevin Samuels.
It's not protecting Kevin Samuels.
Yes, it is protecting Kevin Samuels.
No, this is what I'll say.
You're telling black women that they don't have a right to celebrate. They don't have a right to say.
You know what? Because I've seen things that's happened in our community with people who have done far worse, where they've had respect when they died. And I'm a spiritual person. I'm a very spiritual person. I don't talk about it a lot. But to actually celebrate a man's death that has not impacted you personally is a goddamn shame. And that's something that I can't roll with.
How do you know that Kevin did not impact a lot of...
Can I say something, Faith, right quick? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Faith.
Go ahead, Woman Spirit. I'm sorry.
Hey, Sister George. Hey, Sister George.
Hey, how you doing, Woman Spirit?
Salute. And tell Concrete Rose congratulations too on her.
I'm sorry, y'all. I lost the spot and I had to roll it back.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, much love. But I wanna say something about the women like you, Faith, Sister George. There's a common misconception. The misconception is that because you guys are willing to talk and communicate with men and to be co-ed, is that you're mammies and you're mules. And that terminology from the community that I come from has been thrown around a lot, which is why I created a new term called battle axe, because I've seen Faith go in on men for disrespecting black women. I've seen you do it, Sister George, and so have I seen Concrete Rose, so have I seen Mahogany. Here's the issue. It's people that are females and then there's women. And that is the distinction. And that's where we need to learn to separate who we sleep with and what our status is like in our relationships about how we think about each other as women. And I think that you are gaining the negative prospects and ideology from other black women that you get is because you're not sympathetic, Sister George. You're not. I'm just going ahead. Let me, I like you because I think I get you. I know black women. I understand black women. I take black women to the lab. I'm a womanist, so I love black women. So I get you and I understand you. But at the same time, you're so unsympathetic.
Just let me say, I don't get her, and I don't understand her. Cause she a whole nigga running around here, wrapped up in a female costume. Okay, go right along.
You just really are, and you almost operate from a patriarchal perspective that throws women off. And it makes women look at you like, are you an enemy or are you my friend? And it's like they don't know how to take you, Sister George. That's just really what it is. I do, because that's how much I study with black women. I'm heavily invested. I'm Black women empowerment for real. So I get you and I see where you coming from. And I don't think that's it. But sometimes you get a little like cocky with your approach. You get real cocky with that marriage of yours. It's like, I feed my husband. What you doing to your... Okay, a man is gonna eat whether you feed him or not, Sister George. I don't know whether you know that or not, but Curlin was gonna eat whether you fed him or not. Okay, so it's like it's something about you that lacks empathy, that lacks sympathy, and that is what women are responding to. I just think that they are trying, and they're trying to be delicate, because I see that's what Faith is doing right now. She's trying to be delicate with you in this conversation, but what she's offended by is your lack of sympathy. You don't have sympathy, Sister George. You don't, sis. I'm sorry, you don't.
Let's talk about it. Let's have a real conversation about it. So, I told you I was raised by a Scorpio woman, right?
Listen, y'all.
Scorpio mom, a Libra grandma. The women that I was raised around was some motherfucking savages. And I'm not talking about, they can get on and talk shit to people. They just gonna sit here and talk shit. No, I was raised by a master manipulator. I am manipulative as a motherfucker myself.
I believe her when she says she is manipulative, very manipulative herself. One example of her being very manipulative is how she's put on this whole, male identified cape for these men, to the point to where she actually snagged one of the Black Manosphere men. Okay, she's taken on their identity. She's manipulated her way into their space. And now she done got her ultimate form of male identification via a ring, via being married to one of these fools that she's been caping for online. So yeah, she's very manipulative. I agree with that. She's manipulated herself into believing her own bull crap, and she's proud of it, and she's bragging about being very manipulative. Child.
Please don't get it fucked up. I've surrounded myself, and at one point I surrounded myself with women of the night, with hustlers, with bitches who really knew how to get it. So did
you hear what she said? She surrounded herself by women of the night, by hustlers, by women that knew how to get it, right? So this is telling me that you were not raised up, via a perfect childhood. That childhood that you talked about earlier, your childhood, was probably your mom was probably, not the most functional person. And what do you mean you surrounded yourself by? How do you surround yourself by? Do you mean you were one of these women? You were in this world? Because that's what it says to me. You telling me that you were one of these women of the night, and whatever else it was that she said she surrounded herself by. You got to pay attention to what she's saying. So listen.
Look at women as these victims, and I've had friends, I've done it. I've mushed niggas upside the head. I done slapped niggas in the face before. I done talked all kinds of shit. I don't see women as these delicate creatures that everybody likes to portray, that every woman is not. The majority...
Every woman don't like to portray women as delicate creatures. I don't portray women as delicate creatures. I portray myself as a non-delicate creature. I am a strong matriarchal woman, and nobody pushes me around, and nobody runs me, even though I am married. I am still not a delicate creature. I was not out of the womb. I've never been a delicate creature. Okay? So I don't know where she coming from with this nonsense, but okay, girl. All right.
Of us, Black women, whatever woman, whatever, because I think white women are worse. But I don't look at women and think that they're these innocent, delicate creatures. When you talk about men being abused and men going through shit or whatever, everybody likes to turn a blind eye
girl,
to
who
that.
cares?
Nobody really wants to focus on that because we're quick to point out where men have fucked up at, but we don't really understand the pathology. We don't go and follow the pathology of what really happened or what's really going on. So then being in the manosphere, you do have a group of men that have had things that have happened to them by the hands of women. I am a woman that has been abused and have gone through shit by the hands of women as well. I've had shit from both sides, and what makes me what I feel makes me special in being in this space.
She's speaking about trauma, childhood trauma, as well as relationship trauma. Right? And remember, when I just read the article, the survival mechanism is what? To become male identified. This is her mindset.
Is that I've been able to see it from both sides. I've been able to see it from both sides because I have not always been a victim. I have also been a villain. When you have really done your 360 in womanhood, you should not always see yourself as a victim. You should not always see yourself as a victim. You should also...
I never see myself as a victim. Hit the 1 if you see yourself as always being a victim. The woman speaking, Devin, is a woman by the name of Sista George. Sir. I'm going to put sir on the end of it. Y'all, please hit the like button.
Be a villain. That's my perspective. So when I see women and we get here and women are talking about a lot of, well, they did this to me and he did this to me and he did this to me and he did this to me and niggas ain't shit and fuck these niggas and niggas ain't shit and fuck niggas ain't shit. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying to myself, okay, well, we've had to make choices. We've had to make choices, and I'm not going to say that nothing bad has happened to you by the hands of a man, because I've also been in that situation too, where I was innocent and shit did happen to me. I've been there too. So I can see it from all sides. But I will also sit here and tell you that I've seen manipulation from the bottom to the top. And when I notice a lot of bullshit, and it's bullshit that we're not willing to come to terms with, we're very manipulative. We're very powerful. We know what to do. We know how to use our shit. I've seen behaviors from all of us, even us up on here on this panel. I've seen it. And I can't have the view. The whole problem is we want a certain type of man. We want a certain type of man. We want a strong, powerful man. We want a nigga that's able to kill a motherfucker. We want a motherfucker to be able to cook. We want a motherfucker that's going to be able to fuck. We want him to be fine. We want everything. We do. But it's like, I find it hard to be sympathetic because I know what type of power we yield. I know what type of power we hold. I also call men out. The crazy thing is, it's like, if you go to some of these men gonna tell you, fuck Sister George, that bitch ride for the women. She ain't nothing but the sisterhood. She be over here talking shit about us. She don't fuck with us. She for the sisterhood. Then if you go to the women, because I feel like I actually have a very balanced perspective, I don't let them get away with shit either, because just like we're manipulative, they're manipulative. They come with bullshit. They be on some hoe ass shit. They don't know how to treat each other. A lot of these niggas ain't shit, but a lot of these bitches ain't shit either. And I can see it from both sides. So then when I see, I'm not going to treat your ass like a victim. I'm going to treat you like an adult. Adults make decisions. Adults know there are consequences to everything. You don't get to be a baby after a certain point. And now I'll say this, and it is more so online, because I do think that I'm more empathetic towards my people. And like when my friends, I have family, and I love on them. And I do love on them.
I doubt it.
But I catch shit from both sides, and you're right, I'm not. But men will say that I'm not empathetic toward them either. Aries Queen, shut your ass up. You always talking shit. Get your ass up here and have a discussion, bitch. I'm so sick of her. She always talking shit, but won't bring her ass up to a panel. Bitch, bring your ass. Yeah.
She's very, very defensive. She's absolutely in defense mode right now. She argued with people in the chat. She trying to nigga-splain away her ideology on the panel. She just all over the place. She's very defensive right now. But if you think you're in the right, why are you so defensive? That's what I want to know. Let's continue.
That ain't her thing. That ain't her thing.
No, you know what? Aries Queen has been up on people's panels, but it's like you talk so much shit from the chat and you don't really get a chance to engage in a full dialogue to see where people are coming from. It's easy to respond from a chat. Get your ass up here and have a conversation. She ain't shy. She can get up here and tell you where you fucking up at. Let me tell you where you fucking up at.
Don't beat up on the people, sister.
I'm sorry, thank God, because it frustrates me. It frustrates me heavily.
Let me say something.
You said, wait 1 second. I gotta acknowledge the super chats. I want to acknowledge her $5 super chat and Gynocracy Takeover. They did disappear. I'm trying to find them. I don't see them, but I will read them towards the end of the stream. But Sister George, you said something that kind of struck with me. You were saying that women are capable of a lot. You know what we're capable of. But what about what men are capable of? Men like Kevin Samuels. Now, did you see that stream that we were all talking about where he was basically grooming this woman to not listen to her child? If the child tells him or tells her that the husband touched or looked at them getting out of the shower.
You know what?
Do you not think that that's toxic?
I absolutely think that that's toxic, but I've also had conversations where women have accused men of doing stuff. I've seen situations where children have accused men of doing stuff that wasn't true.
Let me stop right there. Now, see, this is the trigger warning, right? She is going to explain away. She's going to be on the side of Kevin Samuels when he instructed women not to believe their kids if their kids come to them and tell them that they have been assaulted by a man, right? She's going to go on to say that you need to investigate it. You need to investigate it because some kids lie. Really, bitch? And you call yourself a mother? Like, what you mean they need to be investigated? Let me let her finish saying what she's going to say. Child.
To tell you, I'm not going to tell you to dismiss your child, to disregard your child. If your child ever comes to you and tells you some shit like that, that's deep. That's crazy. That's fucked up. You should absolutely pay attention to your child. But you should also understand who your children are. If you think that children are not liars or manipulative, or children won't sit there and lie or do something fucked up, then you have another thing coming. You have another thing coming.
Can I please say something, Faith? Please. This is where,
because Sister George, you're talking about the minority of children. We're not talking about the majority of children tell the truth.
Exactly.
What I'm saying to you is, if your child comes to you and tells you something like that, you should fully investigate. You should fully investigate. I will sit here and tell you that if my child, let me finish. But you've been talking for a long time. Well, I'm gonna continue to talk, and I'm going to continue to talk because we're having a discussion. So let me clarify my thought process. Let me clarify my thought process. That's all I want to do.
I know you triggered because of the stuff with your husband.
I'm not triggered at all. I think you're triggered more so.
I've never disrespected you. No, I'm not. I'm just talking because that ain't what you just said. Okay, but you're
okay. I got to mute both of y'all mics because y'all talking with me now. Look, I unmuted you, but you got to go one at a time. Sister George, please finish up in a minute, and then it's going to move over to woman's sphere so she can get her say out.
I understand that you're saying that that's the majority of children, and I am telling you to do a full-fledged investigation. You're saying that majority of children tell the truth, but a lot of times most people won't acknowledge the children that do lie. And if I have a friend that's a principal at a school. He's a principal at a grade school. And the shit that comes out of that grade school, the things that are happening in that grade school, you're talking about homosexuality, bisexuality. They're sucking dick on the bus at 10. The girls are dressing sexy at 10.
Did y'all hear this shit? Bitch, let me tell you something. When she's talking about grade school, she's talking about elementary school aged kids. 10 years old, she's saying these young girls are doing this stuff on the bus. They're dressing sexy. See, she one of them type of bitches that she would sell her child for drugs if she was on drugs. She one of them type of bitches that one of them married type of bitches that would turn the blind eye to her husband doing things to her children in general, boy or girl, right? She one of them type of bitches, right? That would turn a blind eye all in the effort to, just as long as that man stay in the house, he could do what he wanted to do to her or her children, right? It is very, 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 very disturbing to know that you have kids, Sister George. Did you realize what the hell you were saying when you mentioned that about a 10-year-old child? You sexualized a 10-year-old child. Now, because we are black, I'm going to assume that she was talking about a black girl. Now, we know statistics, because they like statistics over here in this black sector, right? Statistics have shown that when it comes to black children, moreover black girls, they are sexualized at an early age, right? As early as second and third grade, they are seen as older because these perverts sexualize them in order to justify and they say they are fast, they dress provocatively. This is just them trying to explain the fact that they are pedophiles or they have pedophilic mentalities. They have desires for children. When you hear word terminologies that she's using, she's explaining away pedophiles and perverts. This is how the pedophile and the pervert thinks. And to know that she is a mom and she is now in a blended family is very scary. Okay? It's very scary because, like I said, she's the kind of woman that'll let that man do anything to not only her child, but his kids too. And she won't never say a thing about it as long as that man don't leave her. She let him do whatever he want to do to the kids or anybody else. Because she stand behind him, because she male identified and she don't want to lose that man, including throwing little children under the bus. They sexualize these children at a young age like she's doing. You got 10 years old doing this on the back of the bus. Why would you let something like that come out of your mouth and you are a female? That also tells me that she's had some childhood trauma in that area, right? And whoever did that to her, she probably went and told somebody in her family and they did not believe her because she was raised by the same type of bitch that will allow a man to do anything to their kids. Now, we know that this subject is very, very, very taboo when it comes to the black community because nobody really wants to acknowledge and talk about it. And because nobody wants to acknowledge and talk about it in the black community, it is running rampant. That is one of the main causes we have so much mental illness in the black community, right, in the first place. And for you to sexualize a 10-year-old is beyond, you are beyond disgusting, right? You are beyond disgusting. You said you surrounded yourself by sex workers, which you just told us about your childhood trauma, which means you were probably abused as a child. You probably were at one time a sex worker yourself, and because you believed that because somebody didn't believe you. See, let me tell you something. No little girl, when you 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 years old and you playing your Barbie dolls, you don't grow up saying what I want to be when I get grown is a prostitute, right? You don't grow up saying I want to be a sex worker when I grow up, right? sometimes when women are abused, they turn on themselves, right? A lot of the times, when it comes to child sexual abuse, if the child hasn't gotten any help for it, when it comes to women, they turn on themselves, right? They have no no self-worth, and because they don't have no self-worth, they turn to stuff like prostitution. First, they turn to drugs. And then they realize that, hey, in order for me to keep paying for my drugs so that I can numb the pain of my childhood trauma, they turn to prostitution and sell themselves, okay, because they think that they are not worthy of anything else. And that's why they do stuff like this. And you are explaining to me, Sister George, your upbringing. You are explaining to me your childhood trauma. And for you to sit online and say that about a 10-year-old child, you are disgusted and you need some help, bitch. You should have worked out whatever the hell you had to work out in your childhood, even if unfortunately that little girl in you didn't get any help. And I feel sorry for that little girl in you, because when it comes to traumas like that, if you will allow it, it will turn your heart cold. Your heart is black. That's why she sounds unsympathetic. Now, see, some women, like some men, like I said, when it comes to child sexual abuse, most women, they will hurt themselves, right? Drugs, prostitution, things of that nature, right? Now, when it comes to men and child sexual abuse, that some of them will hurt themselves, but some of them will hurt others, right? Now, because she is male identified, she is choosing to treat her childhood trauma like she is a male, right? So she is hurting others, right? Because she is male identified. That is why stuff like this is coming out of her mouth. Right? She has chosen to do what the male does, and that's hurt other people because the male was hurt. These are the actions of people that deal with childhood trauma that never dealt with it, that never got help for it, that went and told their mama, and their mama told them to shut up. What go on in my house, stay in my house. And they went on to be abused for years and years and years, and now they're adults, and they're doing, and they're still suffering from the after effects of their childhood. And they developing this mindset, is what we say in the article, is a means of a survival skill. So what I'm hearing is your survival skills come into play, right? I'm also hearing that you totally changed the subject from talking about the ratchet stuff that your newly married husband been doing online with another woman. You totally changed it into this conversation right here, where it's not even what the conversation was supposed to be about. And you done got triggered, and you're telling us about your life. That's what she's doing, y'all, in case y'all didn't understand it. She's talking about herself, her trauma. That's what she's doing. And she's deflecting it onto children. That's what she's doing. All right? Now, I have dealt with a whole bunch of kids and a whole bunch of traumatic situations, because a lot of you know, if you've been listening to me, that I did counseling for years before I retired, right? So this is her talking about herself. I'm telling y'all, okay? Just let's continue. This is also why I want to do this video.
And trying to be seductive. Yeah, but this is the thing that we don't.
You can't be seductive at 10 years old. You can't be seductive at 10 years old. I don't understand that type of mentality. Like, I just, okay.
You're despicable.
You're despicable. Let's not talk about you, sis. Let's not do that.
Can I say?
And the whole thing is, we want to sugarcoat. We want to sugarcoat and think that everybody is innocent. We're talking about children. So then if my
talking about herself.
Wait a minute. So then
if black male apologist.
Go. No, I'm not a black male apologist.
You sound despicable.
No, ma'am. But
I would never do children. I would never do children like what you just did, girl.
So let me ask you a question. We can't talk at the same time. Let me ask you a question.
No, we really
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
If they sucking dick, it means they were abused, you fucking idiot.
You bitch, you are not going to talk to me like that, bitch. Watch who the fuck you're talking to, hoe.
y'all gonna.
Did y'all hear that bottom bitch come out of her real quick, didn't it? Now she's showing her true face, right? So Mother Twerk said her husband was in the chat backing her up, talking about 6th graders being pregnant. Okay. Child. Moving right along.
It's my monetization. Y'all fucking with my monetization.
All you better watch who the fuck you talking.
Wait. Hold on. Next person.
Yo, you better get her stupid ass. I'm not her.
Now this the real her now.
I'm not her. But what I keep trying to explain. So then if your child goes to school and she victimizes a little boy and she's the one who's initiating the act and she's trying to take your little child off into a back room, we're acting like women don't do fucked up things, and that's...
Let me tell you something. Now, she's still talking about elementary school kids that have been abused, right? Now, some kids, when they've been abused in that way, some kids will do that same thing that has been done to them. They were acted out on other children, right? But she's trying to make it seem like, oh, your kid just gonna go to school after blue. Your little girl is gonna go to school after blue. And she's in elementary school and assault a little boy just cause she want to, just cause she's a 10-year-old predator. You say no? If that happens, a girl or a boy, like I said, sometimes they will act it out because they don't understand it on other kids. They will victimize another child because they have been victimized. They don't understand it, right? And if it's been going on for a long time, they would think that is their normal. So you get certain incidences like that where that does happen, right? It's because the child told somebody or they weren't believed. It's been going on for a long time. It's been normalized to them by an adult because they groom these children, right? But these children know it hurts them, and it's not normal for them, so they act it out on other kids to see if it's normal to them, right? And so that's how those cases happen. They could be, if the child has been abused. Teachers and parents and people in the medical field look for these types of signs because it means that child that has victimized a child has been victimized themselves and they're acting it out, right? Because they don't understand what's going on with them. It is not because the child is a freaking predator. It's not because the child is being fast. It's because something's been done to them first. And they can't tell anybody for whatever reason. Some of these people will groom these kids and tell these kids, I'm going to kill you and your whole family if you say something, right? So in order to reconcile it, the child to reconcile it in its mind, it will act it out. It will act out that sort of thing on somebody else to normalize it, to make it seem like it's normal. It's happening to me. So let me see if this same thing is happening to you, see how you will react to it, right? It's because the situation has not been dealt with. That is the reason why. But like I told y'all, she is telling y'all about her life. She's telling y'all about herself, okay? Because now in the Bible it says, from out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Okay, so when you trigger somebody, if you're really paying attention, because she's been triggered since she's hit the pedal, they will tell, if you keep pressing them, they will tell you about themselves, right? So she is telling us about herself and what's happened to her in her life. And she's wanting to do all these she's wanting to go around about it. And for the fact that her man is down in the chat defending her and bigging up at her, what kind of pervert is he? Like I said, whoever these kids is that are in their homes, somebody needs to go see about them babies, okay? Because this shit right here, this is not normal, right? So let's listen to some more. Now this is Invincible Soul. I hope she's not training I hope she's not training her son with the same mentality. Now, I did a video not too long ago. Some of y'all might remember that Love and Basket, that, what was it called? Basketball Wives. Her son was victimizing other children, younger children, to the point to where he had been kicked out of school. He kept on victimizing these kids. And in the household, what brought it to a head was that she had a blended, the girl was finna marry this man, and he had a son or something like that, and her son was victimizing the little boy, and a police report was done on it because he kept victimizing her son. Royce Reed, thank you, Royce Reed, that was her name, kept victimizing these younger children. But my thing is, it's because Royce never, for whatever reason, somebody done something to her child and it was never dealt with, or she didn't believe it, and he's going out victimizing these other kids. See, it starts with the child being victimized first. And if it's never dealt with, you'll get all these versions of re-victimization going on. But yeah, we just talked about that. Let's listen to some more. But she's talking about herself and her own experience.
That's just not true. It's not true. It happened. If you go and do an investigation, if you go and do your research, if you go, they do fucked up shit. I swear to God. I swear to God, children are not always these innocent little creatures.
How can you say innocent children are not? You're talking about elementary school age kids. What do you mean children are not always these innocent little creatures? How is she raising her children? That is a scary situation to me. Because if I make it abundantly clear in my family that nobody has a right to touch you inappropriately, if you even feel like somebody is looking at you sideways, you come and tell me. I don't care what they say. I don't care how they threaten you. I'm going to protect you. Okay? They're not going to kill me. They're not going to kill your mama. They're not going to kill your daddy. They don't have no right putting their hands on you. And if you feel that somebody has done you wrong in any way, you come and tell anybody in your family. That's not going to be a fucking investigation. Do you hear me? Because I'm going to believe them. You always believe the victim. I am going to always believe the victim because I've seen too much shit in my life. Not only when it comes to children, but adults too. When you see people victim shaming a woman, after she's been sexually assaulted. They victim shame a grown woman and after she's been sexually assaulted in the silence. Because they don't want to reconcile their mind to this popular man that done this to this woman. I always believe the victim. Always. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. But look. I'm believing them. Okay? Period. Point blank. Because especially if you're a small child, you can't make up stuff like that. They have not even been around. They have not even reached puberty at 10 years old. That don't even make no sense what's coming out of her mouth. That don't make sense. I don't understand that type of girl.
And if you're saying, so women's sphere, let me say,
Sista George, we got you.
Faith, let me just say this real quick. Faith, let me say this real quick. So victims beget victims, right?
That was rough.
Victims beget victims, right?
I thought I liked you, but I don't like you.
You don't, bitch. I guarantee I'm not looking for your fucking validation at all. Bitch, you would be the last bitch I would look for validation from. I promise you.
I see what I'm saying about you now. That was rough.
You should be seeking the validation from.
I got to remove. Okay, go ahead.
I'm just saying that. Sorry, Mahogany. I know you're trying to bring peace and resolution, but I know how you is. But girl, that was rough. Like that was rough. Like to talk about a little girl sucking dick and to try and validate that. If she's sucking dick, it means she was abused. It means that she was abused. It doesn't mean she's just out here being. That was rough, Sister George. And I didn't dislike you, but now I don't like you. That was very, a symbolism of abuse, and it's how it presents itself in the Black community with a lot of Black women saying, "Oh, she was fast. What about that little? What about her? Like she knew what she was doing." All of that is what you just did, girl. That was rough. Like, I'm gonna go on mute because that was rough for me. That was rough. I'm going on mute.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna let Mahogany go, and then Sister George can come back up and explain what she meant by that.
Yes,
I know.
She didn't. Yeah. First of all, Faith, please forgive me. My heart is beating up my chest right now because things were going really well, and then it got heated. We got some very strong personalities on this panel. Oh God. Okay, so I don't think Sister George heard what Woman Spirit was saying. What she was saying was just that okay, the young girl who's doing that. Because let's face it, most children, boys and girls, really don't know much about sex at all. And little girls, most little girls are still very innocent until they've been sexualized by someone else. So 9 times out of 10, if a young girl is doing that, you can assume that she's already been molested. I can go on and on about this subject. Oh, do you? Go ahead, Sister George. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say.
Hold on, pause. Let me go back up because I didn't see this at first, and I don't want to. Butterfly T says, I seen abuse and I started mimicking the behavior when I was a kid, and had behavior problems. It only stopped after I stopped being around the person and going to anger management. I'm so sorry that you had to live through something like that, Butterfly T. But I'm so glad that you got help from it. Nobody should have to witness or be subject to any type of abuse, right? And I'm so glad that you got help for it, because a lot of people don't understand that for as long, if you have gone through something, right, and you have never gotten help from it, and we know in this Black community, we are not big on mental health. Some of us take care of our teeth better than we take care of our brain, right, our mental health, right, our minds, right? And so if you don't get help for it, that person that lived that trauma that you went to, it really affects your life in every way, right? So that means that person that abused you, that scared you, that took away your innocence, that person is, in a sense, even if they're dead, still controlling you, right? Because you still are affected by that trauma. So I'm glad, baby, that you got help. Because you don't want nobody controlling you. You don't want past trauma controlling you. That is one of the things that I hate most about, that is so unfortunate when it comes to our melanated community, is we don't take our mental health as seriously as we should. A lot of Black people think that you are weak, or or they was raised up under that saying, what go on in my house, stay in my house. Do you see what I'm saying? We are not raised up, to letting the world know that, hey, we've been through something too, especially Black women. Okay? Especially Black women. They believe, a lot of the world believes in a strong Black woman trope, right? We are women and we are strong because we have to be. It's because a lot of us have been baptized through fire for a whole lot of different reasons. Do you see what I'm saying? But we need help too. But you can't ever say, if you ever tell, with some people, you can't tell nobody. They expect you to suffer in silence, right? And that is not how it has to be. It don't have to be that way. You can do what Butterfly T did and go get yourself some help, even if you have to wait until you're an adult. Even if nobody else believes you in the whole world. Just let me tell you something. For all those little girls out there, you are now grown women and you done went through this, and that little girl is still traumatizing you because you felt like nobody believed you, or you might have even told somebody and they didn't believe you, and you got in more trouble for telling that, I believe you, and I love you, and I'm so sorry that happened to you. And I wish that I could have been there for you. That is horrible. I literally can't fathom a child going through that and feeling unprotected and not getting no help. I can't. That don't work in my brain right. I would lose my mind. Do you hear me? Behind something like that. Lose my mind. Literally. If somebody hurt one of my babies. I'm going to click out of reality. So when you hear a bitch on here talking about, well, you got to investigate. I ain't got to investigate a motherfucking thing. Not nothing. That's just how that's how I feel about it. That don't make no sense. Nobody's suffering in silence. Because and then another thing is, your soul can turn black, right? When it's trauma like that, Sister George, she don't have no soul that's done turned black. She got a hold. You open the door when your soul is so damaged, especially as a child, they take your innocence away. They can open a whole lot of spiritual doors inside you, and demons usher themselves in, right? And so by the time you come an adult, you get adults like this. You know, she does have extreme anger issues because she, like I said, if you push her enough, thank you, Trina Warfield, she'll show you the real her. Right now, she's showing the real her. The statistic is like most girls and a lot of boys will face. So yes, they say when it comes to black girls in particular, it used to be 1 in 4 black girls will have been assaulted in some kind of way sexually, and now it's 1 in 3. 1 in 3. 1 in 3. 1 in 3 little girls will have been assaulted by the time they reach 18. 1 in 3. It's because everybody's still shutting the fuck up and they don't want to talk about it. They're still under that mentality, what go on in my house, stay in my house. If some shit were to go on like that in my house, a motherfucker would be dead. And everybody would know about it. Do you hear me? Because I be damn. I don't know what this bitch talking about. You gotta investigate. I ain't gotta investigate a motherfucking thing. Not nothing. I don't understand that type of mentality. I don't understand women that will choose a man over their children. Right? Because you have animals in the wild that protect their young better than some humans protect their children. Right? And that don't make no damn sense. Because we're supposed to be at the top of the damn food chain. You can't protect your kids? You talking about you need to investigate? Bitch, you out your goddamn mind. Anyway, sorry about that, y'all. I didn't mean to go on like that, but let's listen to some more. I'm about to go get me something to drink. Now, if this runs on a little bit, I'm gonna go get me something to drink, and I'll be back, and whatever. We can roll it back if there's something important. But let me let it play for a minute, okay?
Say that we have to acknowledge what is happening on both sides. If the little girls are being abused, so are the little boys. We don't want. No.
I mean, that's a given. That's another deflection. If the little girls are being abused, so are the little boys. Now she get ready to put on her cape and hide under it when it comes to male identification. Don't you think that they talking about children in general, girls and boys, but since the discussion is on women, They are highlighting the little girls. What do you mean? That don't even make sense for her to say that. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, Sister Noble. I'm so sorry. And I'm so sorry to that little 5-year-old girl that happened to inside of you. And you couldn't speak about it till you was in your 30s. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry it happened to you, baby. Like I just don't understand. I don't agree with stuff like that. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. This bitch is crazy. Ooh, child. Y'all, let me let this play. I'm going to go get me something to drink. To anybody out there that's listening to me, and it's happened to you and you couldn't tell nobody, it's never too late to go get yourself some help. If nobody in the world don't believe you, I believe you. I believe you. And I'm so sorry. And I'm putting my cyber arms around you and giving you a big hug right now and wishing it was more that I could do. It don't make no sense, y'all. Sometimes people are destroyed in their childhood. They never even reach adulthood before they're destroyed. Because some parent or some guardian did not protect them. Or some parent or guardian hurt them. You can be destroyed before you even reach adulthood. You know? It don't make no sense. It don't make no sense for animals to protect their young more fiercely than human beings protect their young. It don't make no sense. And that is beyond me. I don't understand it. It is unacceptable to me. I don't accept this type of crap. Let's listen to some more of this. Jesus.
Oh, but this is the thing. This is the thing.
Sick bitch.
When you really get off into the disgusting, despicable things that are happening with our children, and there's some...
This bitch is disgusting and despicable. Okay?
Despicable things that are happening with our children. It's happening on both sides. It's not just little girls being abused. It's not just little boys being abused. It's happening. Both are being abused.
No,
both
really?
Are being fucked over. Both
really?
Are being fucked over by grown people.
No, like you? You fucking predator. You. So, check this out. So I paused it because evidently this is her husband, Curlin M. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly or not, but Sister George highlighted his comment, and the comment says, "I'm tripping right now, cause some of y'all act like y'all have never seen fast ass kids. Do y'all hear this? Act like y'all ain't never seen fast ass kids. Kids were fast when I was young, and I'm 46. The fuck do he mean by that? So you now." When we were young, you would hear some of the older, they fast in the tail and they all this and all of that. So you're using that old trope right there because you 46 to justify this sick shit that your wife is saying, like you got her back on it. You should not be saying nothing at all because you make yourself sound like a whole predator and a whole fucking weirdo. That's why you should shut the fuck up. Because you're giving me weirdo, creepy vibes. That's what you're doing by putting a comment like this. This is a whole weirdo. I don't understand that. Like, why would you insert yourself in this type of conversation? Absolutely. I did a video on her, Sister Noble. It's on my channel. Sister Noble said, I just wrote an article about Lauren Juma, who was murdered by her mom's 60-year-old boyfriend in Texas. Y'all, I did a whole video about that baby. And how she was murdered. The woman, had 2 daughters, and one of her daughters was 15, 16 years old. She was a sophomore, and her mom brought this man into her home. They were in a relationship for 5 years. He was 60 years old. And a couple of weeks ago, the mom was out of town, and the teenagers was left in the house. In case I haven't heard this, but the video is on my channel, right? He was left in the house alone with the little girl. And he raped her, and he shot her to death. She called her sister before she passed away. She called her mama. She was needing help. By the time my sister got there, the police was there, and he was coming out of the house, zipping up his pants, and told the police to do what you got to do. The police entered the home and found the little girl's pants around her ankle. Sorry about that, Chalky. Can y'all hear me? My something happened and my internet was disconnected. What in the world is going on? Are they trying to flag me? Hit the one if y'all can hear me now. But anyway, I'm here now, David. If y'all can hear me, hit the one. Somebody let me know y'all can hear me, okay? Okay, y'all can hear me again. Sorry about that. Yeah, it says my internet connection went out. I don't know if somebody's trying. I don't know what's going on, but let me try to wrap this up. But but I did a whole video about Lauren Juma. That woman brought that man around her child, and he raped and murdered her while the mom was out of town. The little girl was left with the mama's boyfriend, y'all. You know. EJ says that triggers me. My mom used to have me around inappropriate, sick, BF half dressed trying to brush up on me. Lord Jesus. Lord Jesus. Oh, child. See, that's the type of woman that Sista George is right there, trying to brush up on me. Had I not tried to cut him several times, Lord knows what have happened. Lord Jesus. Lord EJ. I told you some animals in the woods, they protect their young more fiercely than some mothers and fathers if they're there. It's just crazy. You know. But anyway, let's listen to some more. Let me hurry up, child.
We don't acknowledge that. We only acknowledge it from one aspect, and that's from the little girl aspect. We're women, so I get that. And I've been in that position before. But when you talk about what's really happening in our community, we want to villainize our men and make it seem like women have nothing to do with anything that's going.
This is a deflection, okay? This is a deflection. She's trying to deflect away from the wretched shit she just said, and she's trying to walk it back. That's what she's doing.
On outside of loving and caring for the man, and that's simply not true. And when I honestly hate talking about this subject because it always comes across like, oh well, you're trying to make it sound like, or you're trying to hold up for these men, or that's not the case.
But why are you comparing little girls to grown women, though? Why are they even a part of this conversation? You scallywag.
Because woman sphere. Because
you a scallywag. You showed your hand right there. I don't give a fuck, man. Y'all can keep talking to
now,
this bitch.
You see, bitch, I got your bitch, you hoe. You the one who got fucking 5 kids by 15 different men. You stupid ass bitch. You stupid ass bitch. So we can't sit here and have a real conversation because you done got your fucking feelings involved. You done got your feelings involved. You done got your fucking feelings involved. So you can't have a real conversation, you dumb bitch. You are the dumbest bitch alive. I knew you was a dumb bitch. I never. That's why I never associated myself with you because I knew you was a dumbass bitch. So what are you talking about? Not protecting children. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Sucking dick. That was your words. That was your words.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What is she up here yelling for? What is she up here yelling for? So we can't have a civilized conversation.
The fuck you raggedy whore, bitch! You.
Okay. Y'all calm down. Now, see, Sister George, this is what we were talking about.
Triggered.
As soon as you got mad at Woman Sphere, you brought up the baby daddies and the kids and all this other stuff.
Yeah, what do that have to do with the subject?
We're not
Triggered.
doing this, sis, okay? We're talking about a subject.
Now she want to attack and hurt Woman Sphere.
Same thing. Let's just have a conversation.
I want to say this, and
that's her male identification.
But the thing of it is,
she want to verbally abuse another woman.
That it's just
see how that works?
I think that we're not hearing each other. No one said that it's just the black men in the community. No one said that. I'll be quiet.
I'm trying to explain everything from the whole perspective. If you're talking about children being abused, it's not just little girl children that's being abused.
No, bitch, you brought up children.
Bitch, why? See, Faith, but you're not checking her that. You're not checking that, Faith. She's out of order. She's out of order. Bitch, don't talk. Listen, bitch, you'll get cursed out too.
Okay, wait. Let me moderate. We're trying to have a conversation here. Please.
It's that bottom bitch taking over, right? She's out of order. Faith, you not checking her. She's out of order. Y'all hear that? Okay. Remember the article? That's right. Nobody is denying that little boys get abused too. We're talking about children in general. She's trying to be gender specific. She's trying to be gender specific now about nobody's talking about the little boys when we're talking about kids in general being abused, but moreover little girls, because she brought up the 10-year-old little girl narrative and what the 10-year-old little girl could be doing on the back of the school bus. So you changing the narrative. That's what she's trying to do. And she's falling back on that male identification. And it's not working for her because these women ain't backing down.
We thank for calling each other's name. Now I'm going to give you two a break so y'all can cool off. There's a new person on the panel. The gynocracy.
Hey, can I just finish getting my thought process out?
Okay, you will, but other people have to talk.
You're right.
Sister George, I really want other people to get what they have to say in. Gynocracy Takeover has been waiting patiently, and thank you so much, sis. What are your thoughts on the subject?
My thoughts on the subject is what Sister George don't understand is a lot of men derail the conversation about children getting touched on by talking about what happens to boys. But
that's exactly what Sister George is doing. She's derailing the conversation. Exactly what Gynocracy Takeover said a lot of men do. That is exactly what she's doing right now.
Understand is men already fucked up that conversation by glorifying them getting touched on by grown-ass women, and that's perpetuated through men and through the patriarchy and having patriarchal thoughts like that, like what you're saying. We're talking about the 15-year-old girl, you bring up the 15-year-old boy, and men need to hold themselves accountable for creating the conversation of, oh yeah, this grown woman touched on me when I was a 12-year-old boy, and they're glorifying it. They're happy that they got touched on. And then we sitting up there telling them, like, no, that's probably the reason why you have problems with sex, and, you have weird
ideals about sex. We don't talk about that. The men don't talk about that. Men come in to derail those conversations. And what you're doing right now is you're doing the job of men, and that's not cool.
May I respond?
You may, but first
Be back
of all,
out. I'm going to give you
don't
something to
like
drink.
the fact that we are adultifying children.
Exactly.
That's not me trying to adultify.
That's
children.
exactly what she
It's not
did.
me trying to adultify
That's
children.
exactly what she
You
did.
deal with the little girls, but what you don't understand is you're derailing the conversation because men need to have that conversation and stop themselves from glorifying that act when a grown-ass woman touch on them. They be happy.
Godnocracy take
they
over.
got way too soon.
Can I just say this? We actually had a conversation about that on my channel. And what you're saying is absolutely correct. They said that they don't see that as a problem, and it is a problem because this starts a continuous cycle that goes on. When we talk about our daughters, and it's something so hard to hear, but we don't like to think of our daughters as doing anything wrong. We like to think of our daughters as these innocent little creatures. We like to think of our children as...
Actually, we don't enough, and that's the whole issue. That's the whole problem.
No. Wait a minute. I was responding. Let's have a conversation. If I'm talking, I shut up when you talked. I shut up when you talk.
Battle axe, bitch.
Your mama's a battle
shut up
axe.
when everybody's talking because you're on the conversation. Because you're bringing up
what I'm talking about, though, babe?
You're bringing up children fucking, and children are supposed to fuck. Let's keep it a buck, ma'am.
Children are supposed to fuck? Is that what you said?
Man into the conversation. That's when we're talking about.
So you're only going to say it. So you're only going to acknowledge the abuse of little girls. So godnocracy take over. So you're only going to acknowledge the abuse of little girls. So you're only going to acknowledge. So you're only going to acknowledge the abuse of little girls. So fuck little boys, right? Fuck little boys being fucking molested by you grown assholes. Fuck that. Fuck little girls. Fuck little boys, right? Fuck little boys, right? So you grown assholes get to do whatever the fuck you want to do to little boys, and nobody should have a goddamn thing to say about it, because you raggedy bitches think y'all supposed to be able to do whatever the fuck y'all want. You raggedy ass bitches. You are the main raggedy ass bitch woman. Bitch, I've been waiting to get on your motherfucking ass for a while now, you stupid ass. Now you want to sit over here and cry about white and red like your stupid ass went running with them, you raggedy bitch. You bitches ain't got shit to say to me. You baby mama assholes ain't got shit to say to me. You bitches wish you could be in my position, you wretched ass bitches. Raggedy ass bitch, a bitch.
Bringing up little girls about a conversation about a grown ass man touching a little girl. You're fucking weird, Sister George.
She's in the back. She's not even here anymore.
I don't even trust her around children. What did she just say? Like, why are we all sitting here like this is fucking normal? This shit is blowing my fucking mind. What this bitch just did to little girls. And now I'm trying to use the comparison and say, well, what about little boys? Bitch, that ain't how you led the conversation. You raggedy ass battle axe. I am fucking, man, if I was in this bitch face, I would knock that bitch's head the fuck off. The fuck? We don't do that to children. We sitting up here talking about adult issues, and you brought in children, little girls, talking about them sucking dick on a bus. What the fuck?
Okay, I'm going to have to bring everybody in by themselves to make their statements, because this is turning into a battle show, and I want everybody to say what they got to say and not be interrupted. Diamond Princess is also on the stream. Diamond Princess is going to have to put you in the back. Sister George, I think Curlin said that you and him have to be in an event. I don't know if you have long to be on here, but I want you to...
Yeah, let me just address Woman's Sphere. Woman's Sphere, you wouldn't do shit if I was in your face, bitch. Bitch, I'm a shooter for real, hoe. Your stupid ass got caught and ended up with a felon, you dumbass bitch. You wouldn't do shit to me, bitch, if I was in your face, bitch. Bitch, it was bitches in your face that you had problems with for months, and your stupid ass was scared, so you had to go hire a team so they could get with these motherfuckers. But you a scary ass bitch. You been a scary ass bitch. You a worthless ass bitch. And the fact of the matter is, if we talk about children being abused, it's not just the girls. Boys are also being abused. That shit is it's slept up under the fucking rug.
Wow.
If we're having a conversation about children being abused, period, you need to talk about it from all sides. The problem with a lot of you women want to see yourselves as the victims.
Who is you women? Like, so she got her bottom bitch mask on now, and so she wants to verbally abuse Womansphere because she wants to deflect away from the conversation. If that is not a man mindset, if that is not verbal abuse, I don't know what is. That is weird. So no, I mean, abuse in general, that type of childhood trauma in general is traumatizing to boys and girls. We know that. That goes without saying. Why does she have to highlight? She's deflecting via highlighting the little boys be abused too. We know that. But you are the one that brought in the little girls specifically. And now you're trying to deflect away from that. You're throwing everything in the bathwater. All in the means is trying to, because you've been triggered, and now you're trying to support your argument. That's all that she's doing. That's right. Ain't she a woman too? Let her tell it. She doesn't see herself as a woman because she's male identified. That's why she said, you women. What she mean by you women? Are you a nigga? Well, yeah, Mr. George, but that's what she's saying. You women. Y'all notice that? You women. Uppity says she's saying, quote unquote, you women, like she's better than them. She's not. She's worse beneath every woman on the panel, literally. I agree with that. Because yes, she is. What you mean by you women, huh? Girl.
And the only victims when that's not the case. The problem is a lot of boys don't report when they're abused. A lot of boys have been molested, and
little girls don't either.
Fucked with from when they were young, and they turn around and they repeat that same fucking cycle. The same thing happens with girls. A lot of girls get fucked with at a young age, and they turn around and
talking
repeat
about
that
herself
same
now.
cycle. A lot of you motherfuckers won't acknowledge that. That's the fucking problem in the Black community. The problem is that you guys won't acknowledge abuse from all sides. You only want to acknowledge that little girls have been abused.
Why does she feel like, why is she trying to make a difference when it comes to the conversation of abuse? Because children are children. If they have had to deal with this type of childhood trauma, nobody's highlighting one abusive situation over another. She's the only one that's doing it in the means of deflections, which means she lacks empathy, she lacks sympathy, and she is really, 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 really talking about herself, like I said earlier. And I agree, she's absolutely embarrassing. She absolutely embarrassed herself, because it ain't no way of walking back this crowd.
Little boys have also been abused.
No.
And cycles beget cycles.
No.
That's the fucking problem. Y'all want to be so quick to sit over here and talk shit to me, and I would sit over here and hold up for a man. A motherfucker wouldn't make it to court fucking with me if you fuck with my kids.
Now she walking it back. But for earlier she said, wait a minute. She said a person won't make it to court if they mess with her kids. But earlier she say that if a kid makes this type of allegation that it needs to be investigated? Didn't she say that earlier? So now she's walking it back because she realized the wretched stuff that she said, and now she's trying to clean it up. Just Jay said, so her voice go from therapist voice to gangster boo. Evident, yeah, we're singing, yeah. When she go to gangster boo, that's the real her right there. That's the mask off right there. When she clicks over to the bottom beat, to the male-minded mentality, yeah, that's the mask off. That's the real her.
in your fucking life, you raggedy ass bitch. Sit
Listen
over
to
here
her.
and tell me what the fuck I would allow when you were the motherfucker fucking with felons, when you the motherfucker fucking with dope boys, when you the motherfucker fucking with scammers. Bitch, you done had so many motherfucking niggas in and out of jail fucking with your stupid ass that you don't even know which fucking way you going. Bitch.
I believe that she's talking about herself right there. I don't think she's talking about woman's fear. I think she's talking about herself, because she just explained to us when she first came up to the panel the life that she led. She explained, she told me everything when she said, I surrounded myself by prostitutes or whatever, however the way she put it. See, she's really talking to herself. She really is not even mad at woman's fear. She's mad at herself. That's who she mad at. And she's talking about herself.
Are you sure they even your fucking baby's daddies? You don't even know who the fuck your baby's daddies are, and you sitting over here trying to talk about.
Did she say she was a single mom as well? Make it make sense.
To a bitch like me. Bitch, I'm your queen. Bitch, you not my queen. Bitch, you don't know shit. You don't know shit about me. Woman.
I'm your queen. B, I'm your queen. I.e. meaning, a.k.a. bitch, I'm your pimp. You the hoe. You listen to me. You bow down to me. See, that's that male identification in her talking. Y'all paying attention? Mm-hmm.
Fear, bitch, if you ever decide to pull your stupid ass up in the A, contact me, bitch. We can get it. We could get it.
Wow.
Bitch, you wouldn't shoot me and get away with it, bitch. Your ass will wind up in a fucking body bag fucking with me, you ratchet asshole. You been a ratchet asshole for a long motherfucking time. Ain't nobody ever told you and really sat down and talked to your ass. You talk about you for black women. You are for the victimization of black women. You are actually for the victimization of black kids. Especially black girls. You are the motherfuckers that people really need to be the fuck worried
She's
about.
Talking about
because
herself.
You only see the fucking girls as victims. If your son came to your stupid ass and told you that girls was fucking with him, you probably tell him that was a part of his manhood. You probably tell him that's what needed to happen. And that's the fucking problem. Bitches like you, not bitches like me. A bitch like me is a motherfucker that's gonna call it out on all sides, because our boys are being abused by ratchet assholes. Didn't they say yo stupid ass?
Oh shoot, commercial, y'all, commercial. Hold on, commercial. Wow. Whew, baby. Hold on. Let me get past this commercial. I really wanted y'all to hear this in her her own words. I wanted y'all to hear this coming out of her mouth. That's why I asked Faith if I could she tried to change it. I want y'all to hear this sick, disgusting stuff coming out of her mouth. That's why I asked Faith if I could play her audio, because I couldn't believe it when I was listening to it. Let's continue. Let me turn it back up because the commercial is going off now.
All right. Back to me. That was Sista George, and I gave you 5 minutes of roasting and saying what you got to say. The monetization is out the window for this video. I'm going to move on to Woman's Fear, and she can give her reactions and say what she wants to say. 5 minutes on the clock.
Because I really am Black woman empowerment, I'm not going to roast this bitch. I think she just showed who she was to everybody with everything she just said to me. I came up with respect towards her marriage, her family, everything. I've never had a problem with Sista George. I've never even assessed Sista George in a way that she just assessed me. So that means that she has been watching me way harder than I've been watching her. Because when I watched Sista George, I liked her. I didn't have a problem with her at all. I didn't have a problem with her issue, her and Bomb Cherry. None of that shit. So the way that she just assessed me just lets me know that she looks down on Black women. She looks down on Black women that make mistakes. She looks down on Black women that have issues and problems. And she validates from a male perspective. And I see now exactly what Bomb Cherry was saying about you. I get it now. It makes perfect sense, because how you just try to bring in little girls and how little girls sucking dick dick is like I don't even know what that had to do with the conversation. I don't even know where it came from because we weren't talking about that. So I don't really have much for you. I think you just showed your hand and you showed who you are, and you're a despicable bitch, and you don't have love for women at all. You're not like me. You're not like me at all. You can judge me all you want to, but see, when women rest firmly in their sovereignty, you don't get to touch me. Your words mean absolutely nothing. All you did was just show me that you're fucking sad as fuck. And that's it. That's all I got.
All right. Thank you so much, Woman Spin. Thank you for keeping it classy. I'm going to go ahead to the next person, Mahogany Roots, and then we're going to go to Diamond Princess.
Thank you. I'm not going to be long. Oh, gosh. I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. This is not the way I wanted this to go in my mind. I thought, even though I know we got strong personalities up here, I thought we'd be able to hear and listen to one another. That's my whole thing, is women respecting one another and listening and being okay if people had differences of opinion. But I will say this, sitting back and listening, man, Sister George, I'm going to say this. You didn't hear. I'm not sure what happened, but no one.
Hold on a minute. Stacy, if you're talking to somebody named Pennywise, I can't see it. So they must have me blocked out of my own chat. I'm going to have to go on my phone. And if I see it, I don't know what they're saying, but they're clearly agitating you. So hold on a minute, y'all. Because I don't know what's going on. It seems like we got somebody trolling and I can't see them. But if you're in my chat and I can't see you, that means you got me blocked. And why are you in my chat? This was going on here. Hold on a minute. Because I don't like stuff like that. Let me see what's going on here. Because I don't like stuff like that. Hold on. Let me turn it back down again. Let's see if I can see it on my phone. Hold on, guys. Sorry about this. Because I don't like... no, I don't see that person on my phone either. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I'm sorry about this. I'm trying to find the person this... the chat knows what I'm talking about. Okay, so they're not in the chat right now. Stacy, they're not in here right now. I get it because was in a business of kids. Oh, okay, they're not. I thought you were talking about somebody's name in the chat. Okay, I'm sorry about that, Stacy. I apologize, child. Y'all know I'm going. I got 2 devices on here. I'm angry. It's a lot going on, right? Sorry about that. So let's get back to the. Okay, I got it now, Just Jay. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm so focused on this conversation to where I don't know if I'm coming or going. I'm really upset about the whole. Let's continue. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh, here go another ad. Oh, Jesus. Hold on a minute. Let's get past the ad. Let's get past the ad, child. Get past the ad.
That Black women aren't.
I got you, Stacy. Thank you.
Have anything to do with sexual abuse. No one's saying that Black men don't. The fact is that children get abused, and it's wrong no matter who is doing it. It's wrong.
Exactly. It's wrong.
Period.
Period.
Whether it's men or women doing it. I think we're all smart enough to understand that. And it just didn't sound like you felt like we were smart enough to understand that. I've always listen. I've always respected the women in this space because of our strength and our ability to get up here and stand on what we believe in. I'm gonna try not to be too long-winded, Faith, but this is deep right here because I know for a fact that it happens to both. I'm not trying to make this about me, but I know for a fact that it happens to both little boys and little girls. The fact is that little boys are just less likely to speak about it, but us who have intellect, we understand that it happens to them too. Nobody's saying that it doesn't. I just think that there's kind of a lack of willingness from your part to listen to the other women. I don't know gynocracy takeover, but she has her own opinion.
No, you're not doing nothing wrong, Stacey, and I absolutely agree with you. You know, I just, Lord Jesus, I'm trying to hold my composure. You know, when it comes out, girl, let's continue.
Entitled to it. We just got to start respecting each other, guys. We just got to. I don't have too much. I think this took all out of me, Faith. I'm gonna be listening from the chat room. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mahogany Roots. And last but not least, I'm going to add to the stream. What's up, Diamond Princess? You got 5 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So, sexual abuse has been happening to the Black community for a very long time, and from I've been hearing other people's perspective, and when I've been, talking to people, nothing has been done about it because the perpetrator that are touching these children have not been to jail because people always want to protect child predators from going to jail, or they want to protect the men from going to jail because they don't want to see more Black men going to jail. And we need to have these predators locked up because we do not want to see more children harmed, whether they're male or female, boy or girl. Nobody has been sexually abused greater than the other. I think both boys and girls get sexually touched. It's just that when it's a girl, it gets reported more because the boys are told not to tell anything, or they're just embarrassed. However, we should not be arguing as women about what's right, what's wrong. We should be able to come on a panel and have a conversation.
Exactly.
And to agree or disagree. We should not have an argument over, oh, I'm right. This is right and all that stuff. We should sit down and have a conversation because boys and girls get abused. Because if I had a son and a daughter and they got abused, I'm going to look at the man because I for my children first. There's not going to be any investigation going on. I am going to directly to him, and I have to eliminate the problem because children are not at their sexual peak at a young age. They're still developing. And we should not be sexualizing children and saying children, are the ones that are initiating the sex when they do not have their sex drive at their peak. So I think that, we should watch our words and watch what we say on the internet because it will come back on you. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, Faith, for having me.
I agree with what she said. I agree.
Thank you so much. I got Women's Spirit back up here, sis.
I agree.
This was a hell of a stream. I had no idea the revelations that was going to come out in the stream.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I do. I really do, Faith, because I appreciate your show. I know you try to be professional. But that was the thing about the little girl just triggered me. It was just like, and it wasn't that, it was just a little girl. She deflected with that conversation because she knew it was about children. It was about children in general. We aren't talking about children. We are talking about adult issues where Black men and Black women have not been able to effectively communicate with each other for one reason or another. But it's like I came up with respect towards her, and this is the irony. The first thing I said to her was, I think the problem women have with you is that you lack sympathy and empathy. And she showed me none. She ripped into my personal life. I've never even talked about her personal life.
It went down so fast, Woman's Spirit, and I'm sorry that you endured that. First of all, I was a baby mama. Sister George was also a baby mama. And there's no way that you should be talking to other women in that same manner that a manosphere man would talk to a woman.
I agree.
And you walk through that same walk that she has walked through. She's weaponized her marriage.
She's absolutely weaponized it. I agree.
In this live stream.
I agree.
Proved my earlier point.
I agree.
So many revelations came through that I was not even aware of. And I can't believe.
And the crazy part is I wasn't even going to hit the link. I was like,
hold on a minute. I think there's one more part I want you guys to hear. Is Sister Faith, she left some timestamps. Okay, 2:32. Now a man by the name of Rude Imp, he joins the conversation. I'm assuming near the end of the video. So let me try to fast forward to that timestamp. On the phone. It says it's 2:32. Okay, hold on, guys. 17, 2:22, 2:29. I'm gonna start it at 2:29, so I can hear when the Rude Imp comes up there, and let's see what he has to say about this whole thing. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward to 2:29.
Negative towards loving on Black women. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants to feel it. Everybody, they call me like she in a private chat calling me butch and calling me gay.
Wow.
What? Because I love Black women. Yeah,
I thought
see,
she was talking to me.
Right, you think so
I feel like she watches everybody content because we were just talking mad shit.
Hold on. Y'all just that was for me.
So it's like we gotta, we love each other. Like we support each other. We love each other. We're telepathic with each other. We get on each other's nerves sometimes. Like I know I get on gynocracy cuss me out every other day. I still fuck with her though. You know what I'm saying? Like I done blocked her a couple of times. I done did all types of shit, but I still be watching. Give him my energy and shit.
You know who I would love to get up here. I would love to talk to Von Terry next because she's another sister. I said I wasn't gonna watch Von Terry, but goddamn it, her stuff just be so goddamn provoking. I can't help it. But
she's getting on my nerves, girl. Me and Bomb been cussing each other out for 5 years, child. 5 years. We done went over 40 days and 40 nights.
Energy for that. I can't. But
me and Bomb been cussing each other out for a while.
She's been married for a long time. Now, is it true? Now, is she a sex worker or did she used to just...
No, she's not. She's Bomb has been married for, I think, 32 or 33 years. And she is a cam model, a webcam model, like kind of like Nosy Ho Live. I don't know if y'all know who she is. And y'all gotta know me. I fucking love sex workers. So I don't get to get shamed in that area. I fucking love them. Like the women that sit at home and show you their feet and just make a living off of it and smoke weed and talk shit to us online, I am infatuated with. Like bitch, you getting paid to show your feet.
You were the one that kind of got me, because you know how I am. I'm very conservative.
Yes, I know.
Got me to kind of, look at the sex workers as different and as sisters. But now I keep telling you, everybody ain't your sister, though. I still don't.
Olivia, if y'all hear that dang on dirt bite in the background, I'm sorry. I didn't really know that. I didn't know that they pulled them out. They know I'm in here on the stream and my window is up. So if y'all hear the dirt bike in the background, I apologize. I'm sorry about that. Let's continue.
Trust the sex worker women.
Oh, they some finessers, but that's what I like. Yeah. See, that's what I like about them, though. It's
but
like
I'm not going to be judgmental towards that group anymore because there are some women in that group that are actually good and decent women.
I'm happy I was able to get you to look at it differently, Faith, because you are very conservative. Very. That's why you be on my ass. Like, girl, what is you doing over there acting crazy like that? And girl, like, we couldn't be in the same city together. I get on your goddamn nerves. I'll be on your couch driving you fucking crazy. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You but it's listen, like, sex workers are the origin of the BWE movement. For a lot of people who don't know, they are the origin of the women who stepped out and said, listen, this is what we gonna do. Men gonna do it anyway. Why not? Why not? And so they started from home. They not walking the streets, y'all. They not walking the corners. They are literally just doing little shit like dancing in front of a camera and letting men pay them to look sexy. And that's all Bomb was doing. That's all Bomb was doing. Bomb wasn't fucking nobody. Bomb was just on camera being beautiful as Bomb, and men was paying her to be Bomb. So was Nosy Ho Live. So was shout out to Bossy Empress TV. So all of these women were just getting paid just to be them, just to be on camera. They ain't fucking nobody. They just sitting there on camera, and men pay for that. It's crazy, but it's real. It happens. So.
All right. Well, shout out to all the sex workers out there. No hell and brimstone.
God bless.
Here come the rude guy.
First off, let me say, God bless all the hoes. Hey, that's it.
Now see, he done came up wrong off the rip, right? He already done came up wrong. So let's listen.
That's it. Yeah, shout out to him. Nah, but look, let me say this real quick, right? Because listen, man, I just want to just put my input on this one because I understood where Sister George was coming from. I mean, she said some things that was kind of, it was kind of extreme, but what she's pretty much was saying, hey, women, we can't continue to keep on playing the game like women don't get out here and do crazy shit, right? Or even little girls, man. So I understand women do.
What do he mean by even little girls? Get out here and do crazy stuff. Like I said, he came up here wrong in the first place. So he's agreeing with Sister George. Of course you're agreeing with Sister George because she a nigga just like you. She male identified. And why is he on this panel full of women in the first place? Let's continue.
Protect their reputation and their image, right? It's certain things you don't want to be viewed as or labeled as. Cool. That's when you're talking to people who don't know you. Like, I think we've got to the point where we can actually have the real conversation without being disingenuous. I know me, I can tell you guys what men do, what men think about, the dirty shit, what niggas be plotting and scheming. And so when a woman do the same thing, why is that an issue?
Real,
right? So in the case,
nobody
That's
said
not the point,
that.
though.
Wow.
Nobody said that. That's
no, let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean,
Wow.
right? Let me show you what I mean, right? All right, in the case of what Sister George was saying, look, all right, everything that a woman do is not coerced or forced by somebody else. Like, you can't always blame everything on a man for why girls or even women doing some crazy shit, and it might be viewed as predatory. It might be something that she did on her own accord, right? So it's easy for women to say, oh, yo, if a little girl was doing this,
But are we talking about women or children?
Oh, no, we talking about women, children, we talking about all that. We talking about female, we talking about female, males, we talking about everything, right?
Wow.
You can't keep blaming somebody. Listen, what I'm saying. You can't just keep blaming something else for why somebody's doing something. Now, for the most part, you ladies are right.
Wow.
If a little girl going around doing all that, yeah, she been molested, man. What about if a grown woman kill a man? What if a grown woman selling dope? What about a grown woman who's finessing and jugging niggas? What about that, right? Setting up niggas.
I'm uncomfortable with the fact that this man is up here just like Sister George comparing adults to children. And like Faith said, why are you adultifying the little children? Like, you're not making a difference. Like, you sound predatory when you say stuff like that. I don't think these people realize how it is, how they sound when they're coming up here saying this stuff. Like, you need to be more articulate when it comes to your stance, because you make yourself sound creepy. You make yourself sound like a whole freaking weirdo. It's like it's not normal.
It's plotting on niggas, right? So is some other man coercing or making her do that shit? No, some women are doing that shit because a lot of women are grimy than a motherfucker when they do shit. So I'm saying,
Now,
like,
why would you say that in a woman's space?
This is what I'm hearing though. It's like women don't want people to know about the little dirty secret, the shit that they be doing that the public not supposed to know. It's supposed to be some in-house shit amongst you ladies. And when they get exposed, even from a woman, like you women have a problem with that shit. But yes, us men, we can describe and pretty much call out any little degenerate shit that niggas do every fucking day. And don't nobody say anything about it because we get out there. Hold up, man. Let me finish what I'm saying.
No, rude. Nobody was talking about children, rude.
No. All right, no, you're right. We ain't talking about you. We just talking about women. I'm talking about
that's the only problem. That's the only problem we have with Sister George is that she put it on children instead of grown adults. We don't have a problem with what she was saying. It's a manipulating bitches out here. You think we don't know that? We get manipulated.
But look, going back to the children part, like I say, you're right. You ladies right, man. For a little girl doing that, yeah, she learned that from somewhere, and chances are she's been touched on, right? But I'm looking at my son. My son, like 13, he told me he got a little girlfriend. So just going back to when I was in middle school, I know what me and my partners, what we was doing, and also what the little girls was doing. So it's safe to assume that maybe my son is at least kissing a girl, holding hands, doing shit like that, and he only going to do more as he get older. So I'm not going to put it past him. And the reason I mentioned Faith in the chat room, that the government don't push shit past kids because the government would lock your kid up at 10 years old. So just it's based on what you ladies are saying or what people want to say about children. If that was the case, then why in the fuck do our babies get locked up so young? And I went to juvenile when I was like 12. But no, the government didn't give a fuck about me being a kid. It's the fact that if I did a crime, they'd lock me the fuck up like they would lock up a grown-ass person. So can anybody explain why does the government, if we as civilians,
That's race-based.
No, they ain't put me in lockup. No, they ain't put me in lockup. No, hold on. They ain't put me in lockup with grown men.
Right,
the fact that I was locked up.
You were charged as a child because you were a child. So the punishment for a child is going to be different.
But it was the same. It was the same setup. Faith, it was the same setup. Hold on, I'm not done. The same setup. Faith.
This one out, bro.
The same setup. Faith. When I was in juvenile, was me being in the room with some stone ass walls, and also you hearing the key locking me the fuck up, man. The same effect that a grown ass man would go through.
Rude. I've been knowing you for a couple of years. So, I'm telling you, bro.
No, I'm not even interjecting. I'm just giving the perspective.
No, I know you not, but I'm telling you.
All right, so let me say what I'm saying.
I got it. On this shit, and I think you need to sit it out, dude.
I'm sitting it out. No, I'm sitting it out.
But sit it out. Sit it out.
I'm sitting it out. What I'm telling folks is that look, man. Sister George was just keeping balance. That's all she was, man. That's all she was doing, and you guys know that.
No,
that's all.
No, that's what I'm saying. That ain't what she did.
I don't understand what I'm realizing.
That's what I'm telling you.
Black girls always get called bad. Black women and black girls always get called bad. Come on now.
You say black women and black girls do what? What you say?
It's our fault and all the other. And what were you wearing? We always hear dumb shit like that.
Women.
Yeah,
women.
Yeah, that's wrong though. No one. I mean, who the fuck agree? Who the fuck agree with? Who in the fuck agree with somebody telling a girl that she's fast?
That was the time.
No, let me ask you. Who's agreeing with somebody telling a little girl that she's fast and she brought it upon herself? Like, who's agreeing with that?
Sister
That's what you just kept saying. That's what you say when you derail a conversation and talk about girls being fast and girls sucking dick.
She was like, but we can't deny these little girls be sucking dick on buses. That's what I'm saying, Rue. Sit this out, man. Like,
yeah, that was extreme.
Yeah,
no, that was extreme. And you guys countered. No, that was extreme, and you countered by saying, "Look, if a little girl doing that, chances are she learned it from somebody, or hell, it probably happened to her." All right, then. So that's facts. So I'm saying, so when it goes back to just women and just women alone, right? Okay, so why can't we know about the dirty shit that women do? Why can't a woman tell us and divulge the secrets of a dirty ass woman? Like, why can't that be the case?
Once again, he's conflating the issue. He's talking about he's trying to defend Sister George by comparing little girls and women, really putting them in the same category, right? So Feisty Goddess said it's very clear that little girls are not looked at as little girls. They are seen as women because nobody values little black girls or black women. And that's an excellent point because, like I said earlier, I don't know if you are on here, Feisty Goddess, that studies have shown that black children, but moreover little black girls, are sexualized at a very young age. Elementary school age little girls are being sexualized or seen as older because they want to justify their predatory ways. So they objectify these little girls. I'm talking about second and third grade age little girls being seen as older because these predators are sexualizing these little girls, and they're having these predatory thoughts as well as actions against children. But the way to defend that is, oh, they're older. They seem like they're older. That is why they sexualize children, in particular little black girls. And I'll agree with you when you say a lot of us value little black girls. But when it comes to society at large, we know that as black women, we are not valued, not even in our own community by our own men. I'm not going to say all, a lot of our own men, and neither are our little girls. Even by Sister George is a perfect example of even male identified black women that don't even value our little girls, and she doesn't even value herself. That is why she is so so steadfast in her train of thought. And for this man to get up here and interject himself on a woman's panel is beyond me, because he didn't have nothing to do with that. See, like I said in another video, you got a whole lot of, and when it comes to our feminine and masculine energies, you got so many emotional men on here today that are comfortable with interjecting themselves on women's conversations, because there is too much feminine energy, when it comes to these men. So when you hear a man like this insert himself on a conversation that he really should have stood down from, just like Woman's Sphere said, that is the reason why this is going. This is our feminine emotional energy. Why would you interject yourself into this type of conversation? I mean, you don't have nothing to do with this. This is a whole panel full of women. It don't make no sense. But he got all this feminine energy up here. And he got up there acting like he was defending Sister George, when he really just wanted to come up on this female panel and denigrate women, black women. Okay? And I'm going to highlight this comment right here, because this is true. This is true. Feisty Goddess says they demonize black girls for having their period. Child. They feel if she can have a baby, that means she's okay to sleep with. Now, I have heard panels in the past. There was this guy in particular. I can't think of his name. I don't know if you guys remember him. And I'm sure he's still on here, but he was part of the He-Man Black Woman Haters crew when he would advocate for these grown men marrying these little children as well as young as 13 and 14 years old. You a whole predator. You a whole pedophile / hebephile running around here advocating for that. I can't remember his name, but they was circulating his video years ago where he was advocating for these grown men to marry little children. So I absolutely agree with you, Feisty Goddess. Yes, Ringo. It was Ringo something TV or something like that, right? Ringo Raw TV or something like that. Yeah, that was the name of it. Mm-hmm. I remember that video going around. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad y'all do too. Yeah. So it's about, the whole video is about done.
It's not a woman though. She was
we passed the kids, man. We passed the kids, man.
Y'all, let me answer that for Rude. Okay, the reason why is because the majority of assault cases, sexual assault, rape, and everything else, these are crimes that are, I would say, primarily. I know that there are some women, but you're looking at about 20%. 80% is men committing these crimes. Okay. You want to know what percentage of men commit crimes against other men? And you can look this up. 90%. 90% all crimes committed against other men are men. 90% of crimes committed against women are men committing these crimes against women. And 90% of crimes committed against children are men committing these crimes against children.
Can I say
So
something?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
So you saying it's wrong? Hold on, let me say this. Let me talk to Faith. Faith was talking to me. Let me respond to Faith, man. Yeah, let me respond to Faith real fast.
Can I say
So you saying Faith? So hold on, let me respond real fast. You got it. Hold on. So Faith, so you saying for the fact that it's a higher percentage of these crimes that's being committed by men, that is no room for women to commit no crime. So that's what Sister George was saying, right? All right. What about the
why would we focus on the minority?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Why not?
This for me, y'all. I gotta exit this conversation because I feel like I'm being a participant in a conversation that's victim blaming children, and I can't be a part of it, y'all. I can't. Like, this is crazy to me. Like, I can't even believe we're sitting up here discussing this. This is about children, and I cannot do it. I can't. I can't do it, y'all. I can't. I'm out. But I'm out.
Okay.
Well, I got to end the screen anyway.
Yeah,
No, but Faith, before you go, what I'm saying.
I'm going to go ahead because Rude, I've been on here damn near 3 hours. I hate these long streams.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. No, what I was saying, okay, so, well, sorry, right, just based on the sexual abuse and all that, we agree that a lot of men do violate children, they'll violate women and men and all that, right? But the very few times that a woman do it to a little boy, is that considered to be wrong? Or for the fact that it doesn't happen as much as men doing it to little girls, you guys want to ignore that part?
No,
why would he say something like that? That don't even make sense. That's dumb as hell.
Faith just mentioned, ladies, Faith just mentioned why should we focus on the minority in that regard? So it's pretty much you ignoring it if you don't want to focus on that part.
No, right? But what she's saying is, what she's saying is, let's use common sense. If the majority of it's happening by men, she's just saying, okay, we can't pretend that it's equal when it's not really equal. Like, just like saying it's equal percentage of women running out here raping men. It's just not. I don't even think a woman can rape a man. So it's just not the same. That's all she's saying.
I agree, but like what I'm saying, if Sister George is calling that part out about what women do to little kids too,
but you have to understand because that's not the majority. Change our own conversation about that. If when y'all get touched on, y'all make it seem like that it's a good thing. So y'all need to stop having that conversation like that.
No, men don't speak on it because what you say, ladies are saying, it doesn't happen a lot to little boys like that. It doesn't, right? And when it does, a lot of people won't say shit about it because you forgive women. For the most part, like women don't want to be labeled as sexual predators.
I disagree.
Even a woman who's really just outright doing this shit, like she still should have the backing of other women, and for some reason she'll become a victim. And even in that regard, that for why she was touching on a goddamn kid as a grown ass woman, right? So what I'm saying, all right, do you ladies just want this double standard to be what it is, right? To where it's certain labels and stigmas are applied to men, and also certain ones applied to women. In the case of sexual abuse, domestic violence, and all that kind of shit, do you want that to be only for men and not women?
Did y'all hear that?
I must just say, speak for myself and hop off. This was a great, it was an important live that needed to be had. I'll say that. This is my thing. Had a female cousin that was abused, had a male cousin that was abused. The point, no one's saying that it doesn't happen to boys. What Faith was saying is that the perpetrator, most of the time, when you go back to the originator, a lot of times it happened from men. And this is crossing all races. That's the thing. All races. It's usually males, right? Just like it's usually males who tend to be more violent and things like that. That's just what it is, whether we like it or not. But some people like it or not. That's what it is. And so she's just stating we can't pretend that these statistics are equal as far as men and women when it comes to being the predator. That's all she's saying. But we know that little boys and little girls get molested, and we know that it's wrong. I love you guys, family. I'm out of here. Great job, Faith.
Hey, I'm going, man. I'll let y'all too, man. Y'all take it easy, right? All right, take it easy. Hey.
All right, thank you for coming, Ruth.
Thanks for letting me up, Faith. You look beautiful. No,
okay, that's pretty much the end of it. I'm sorry this video went on so long, but I really wanted to do a reaction to Faith Factor video. And thank you, Faith Factor, if you're listening, for letting me review your video. I wanted to present the evidence to you guys. I wanted you to hear what a lot of these women had to say. not just, tell you what they say, because some of the things that were said was so disturbing. And one reason why I wanted to do it like this is because what we were listening to when it came to somebody like Sister George in particular, is the reason why we can't get over that taboo. Is the reason why a lot of us can't get over that type of generational curses. Because when we know that when we a lot of us, a lot of black folks, we out and heard it in our homes, will go on in my house, stay in my house. That is conducive to continuing the cycle of a generational curse. Because if you can't tell nobody what's going on and you can't talk to nobody when something bad has happened to you, it just festers inside of you, and it can manifest itself into you doing the same thing that was done to you, to somebody else, to another child in your family. So the cycle continues. So we just continue going on and on with this generational curse simply because your mama told you what go on in my house, stay in my house. Since they want to, since a lot of the times, we don't want we don't want a family member going to jail or a family member killed or all of this and all that. Not we, some people. Because me, I look, it ain't like it in my family, okay? I wish a motherfucker would. Do you hear me? But it's unfortunate when you hear moms, and Sister George is a mother. When you hear her coming up here on a panel in front of ain't no telling who is listening and advocating for something like this, is beyond me. Like, never have I ever. Like I said, I learned something new on social media every day, you know. And the stuff coming out of this woman's mouth. That's why I wanted to read that article to you guys about male identified women, because it is very, 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 very dysfunctional. And when you get a woman like that, she is the type of woman that'll say that'll hold true to that, do as I say and not as I do. Like I said earlier, she's the type of woman that will know something is going on with her children, and her man is doing it to her children, and she won't say nothing about it, and she'll hush them up so they won't tell nobody else about it. Simply because she want to keep that man in her house. She has essentially chosen to protect that man over protecting her children. We heard a lot of deflections. I don't know why that guy, Rude, came up on that panel of women. He had no place there. I don't see why he was there in the first place, to try to deflect the conversation and throw shots at women. He came up with the first thing out of his mouth was derogatory towards women. He went on to defame women and little girls. He sexualized little girls. He compared them to the things that he feels that some grown women do. The whole thing was just real vile, okay? It's real vile, and it's sick, and it's disgusting. And a lot of that is the root cause, is the reason why we have so much mental illness in our black community. Because you got all of this stuff going on. Nobody's talking about it. People are protecting predators and domestic violence abusers and any other type of abuser. That's why nothing ever changes. Nothing. Nothing. People simply aren't protecting their children. Don't you think kids grow up? Don't you think they're going to grow up one day? They don't even care enough about them or care enough about their well-being, because like I said, some kids are destroyed by the time they get grown. By the time they grown, they are already destroyed because they have been victimized, because nobody, including their mother or their father, protected them. It's just horrible, and it's unfortunate. But we're never going to get rid of these types of generational curses. We're never going to get rid of this type of abuse. You know, if you're teaching it to the younger generations. And that is exactly what's going on online. I was listening to a clip. Somebody played a clip of that guy named DJ Academics. He was wanting the female, the alleged trans female that was with Kevin Samuels when he died. He's wanting to do the interview with her. And she said she want $5,000 to do an interview with him, right? So they were already saying that allegedly she could have been a sex worker, allegedly she could be a trans woman, and all of this and all that. But the reason why I bring that up is because they say his target audience is between 13 and 24-year-olds. So he's got a lot of young people, young teenage people listening to him having these types of conversations. And do you think that that's not so naive to think that that is not affecting children? I just told y'all at the top of the show about the guy that was 18 years old, the white supremacist, drove 3 hours to a black neighborhood, pulled up into a grocery store and killed 10 melanated people, injured one, and wounded injured one melanated person and wounded two non-melanated people, because he had been radicalized online. Radicalized online. My God. It don't make no sense. But I just want you guys, like I said, I want to play this audio so that we could break it down. Sorry it lasted so long. Sister George, girl, Lord have mercy. I'm going to hope that you didn't mean that stuff that you said, but I think that you were triggered, and I think you meant it. Because like I said, it's saying in the Bible, you know, out of the mouth, the abundance of the heart speaks. So when you are triggered and you get pissed off and you're in a heated argument or you're drunk or something like that, your mouth is going to speak what is truly in your heart. Because you don't have time to muzzle your commentary. You know, and because I believe, Sister George, that you were speaking from your own childhood trauma and trying to put it off on somebody else, you married to a man that's defending you, which means that not only are you not safe, but your child is not either. But it don't matter, because as long as you keep that man, he can do whatever he want to do. But you trying to get mad at everybody else, or what they're going around saying about him and Bomb in the DMs, or him and Bomb DMs. That's what you're mad about. And you deflected away from that conversation and ejected the adultification and sexualization of a little black girl. Then you go on to proceed objectifying and pretty much nulling any kind of sympathetic, any kind of, you're not wanting people to have any sympathy for this little girl that you use as an example. Then you were shocked that people weren't agreeing with you. I don't understand that. That is sick. You know, she's meant that it's not the first time we've heard her refer to little girls as fast tail little girls. Yeah, I remember the old people used to say that. Yeah. Yeah. People complain about the way that children are dressed. That's when you're complaining about the way that children are dressed and they're that young. Why are you even looking at them closely enough to be able to objectify them in any manner? Because they are children. That is some sick stuff. Like, you really need to, you know, take some personal accountability when it comes to your train of thought. That's ridiculous. Oh, y'all. Whenever I hear Gen X and the bull say fast, I'm like, what? Child, I know that's right, Uppity. Y'all, I am going to get off of here. The elder generations are full of victim blaming. Like, yes, they are. I agree. Some of them are, absolutely. And they're teaching it to these young people. And we saw, we just talked about a perfect example of that. Wow. But I'm gonna get off of here, y'all. Women like that. Women like that are trash and will pay for it in L along with the monster. And here, yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Thank you, Uppity. I'm pretty messed up. She thinks she's going to something different. Yeah, well, I doubt that. I'm sorry I was reading that multiple choice. But yeah. But anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna let y'all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for sticking with me for this long. If you're still on here, I've seen many of y'all in the chat that have been here the whole time, and thank you so much. Thank you, Aries Queen. I really wanted to have this conversation with you guys because it was a serious conversation, and I usually don't even come on Sundays, but I had to go on and talk about this right now. Number one, I said I was gonna talk about it when I seen the clip of it from Sweet Life of Tori, and then I went over there and I was like, wow, you know. But that Sister George, girl, you are sick. You a sick individual. Like, for real. You and your husband. And God bless them babies, and may the Lord wrap a shield of protection around them babies. Away from y'all. Because y'all some deplorable individuals. Okay? So I'm gonna get off here. Let me I don't hardly ever get to say this, but thank you. I got some I got a super sticker, and I got some a couple of what do you call it? A couple of cash apps. And thank you guys so much for the donations. I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. That tells me that you appreciate what it is that I do on here, and that means a lot. And so yeah, I'm gonna get off of here. And like I said, you guys, oh, thank you so much. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you guys later. Y'all be safe out there. Hit the one if you like this content. Y'all know I go back and forth sometimes, and sometimes I be on, sometimes I don't. But when it comes to situations like this, we're gonna talk about it. You know, we're going to talk about it because I speak a lot on my channel, in case you're new, about generational curses, about childhood trauma. Thank you guys so much. You know, about issues concerning our black people, because I am a black person, and I want to say rest in peace to all of our melanated souls that were gunned down yesterday via the hands of an 18-year-old white supremacist that had the N-word chiseled into the muzzle of his gun. My God. Taken down, not done away with on the spot, taken down without a mark on him. It seemed like the police, from the footage that I saw, thank you, Miss BX, was very loving and caring towards him, you know. And so, yeah, we're going to have to watch it play out. But I want to tell you guys about that too. And I hope that you guys will go look up that information. Thank you, Trina. I appreciate all of y'all. All of y'all. Y'all be good, okay? And I'm going to talk to y'all later. Be safe out there. Bye-bye. Peace. Oh, and please like, share, subscribe, and hit the like button on your way out the door. Okay, guys? Thanks. Bye-bye.